Hey, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Umzansi Esports League Season 3, brought to you by Nodwin Gaming. My name is Dr. Sid, here with Snare, Thendo, and a little mystery guest in the right corner, which you will hear but not see. And we are bringing you some of the hottest action in esports on the African continent. It is FIFA 21, and we have some great games coming up today, as we have some amazing action yesterday. What are you looking for today, Snare?
Today, you know what I want to see? I want to see the beast unleashed, man. This is going to be one of the few times that we see like top tier competition going up against each other because of all the new blood in the competition. So
for us to
very,
right
very
now.
excited.
Yeah.
And I do think that we're going to be seeing quite a lot of action, in particular when it comes to seeing the beast in his first matchup against like a bravado player in quite a while. So I'm kind of excited to see if he can keep his place in the top 4, if Moby can break his way back through.
Can't wait to see that and look at the pool for what our players are playing for. It's $17,500, $15,000 going to the PUBG tournament, and $2,500 going to the FIFA winners. It's exciting and unbelievably competitive. Today, we have two amazing players going head to head. Let's take a look at the table and see what the players are fighting and how they look at the moment. Nando, you want to talk us through this?
So obviously yesterday we had a battle of the bottom half of the table versus a Savage and Bobo, who now Savage, after winning that game, finds himself in that 4th place position, so he's sitting comfortably. Obviously we still got Masom all the way at the top. We got the Beast sitting up top as well, and Unfazed. It's pretty much a Goliath party all the way up there. Divac following not too far, so hopefully, you know, a couple of these people towards the bottom can start to pick up some points, you know. Remaining looking especially at Darth, who hasn't been able to pick up anything so far. Today is Moby's day to maybe shine a light and get that 1 point to maybe a possible 4 points. We should move him to around the 5th place in the leaderboard, so maybe that would be really good for him, but we'll just have to wait and see what the action is like today. So far, leaderboard is looking spicy.
That is a spicy leaderboard, and we are expecting a very, very spicy matchup between the Beast Binachi and Mobizilla, two players who have shown that they have the skills to be top echelon of FIFA 21 on the African continent. It promises to be a very, very spicy match today as we are waiting for a kickoff. Gentlemen, please familiarize yourself once again with the table so you can see the movement that needs to happen depending on the out games. Right here, I just want to give a quick information to the people. The Beast can literally set himself up ready for the next round with a win today, but Mobizilla has to come correct, otherwise he will disappear and pretty much put himself in the back line and make it difficult for him to qualify for the next round. So, Snare, I want to ask you again, looking at this table, you know, some of these players are well known. What do the guys like the Beast Mobizilla really have to do today to ensure that he's in the running for a qualifications spot?
So for the longest time in the Umzansi Esports League, Moby's actually find himself one of the players that's been most consistent in terms of his performances. Despite not necessarily doing the best in terms of finishing the highest when the league ended, he was always up there, always doing well, always looking like he's someone in contention. So I think for him, it's all about reacquiring the previous form that led him to being in one of the primary contenders in the Umzansi Esports League to begin with. And a big thing that we didn't see from him in these matches though thus far is his defense. For the longest time, despite not being able to score that many goals, that was what was holding Moby back. His defense was always solid, but scoring was an issue. But this season has sort of been flipped around, where his defense has been a little bit leaky. Whereas from the Beast, his previous issue was showing up early in the tournament, and he's done that thus far. He's been looking very good. So for him, it's all about keeping going. And for Moby, it's about finding that spark that he used to have once again.
We are going to be looking for some sparks to fly as we head into the first match of the day. Like we said, I want to remind everybody how it works. The games are played over 2 legs and the scores are taken the aggregate after both games. The points distribution is the same in regular football. 1 draw, 3 points for a win, and 0 for a loss. Reminding people that the top 4 teams will qualify next round of games where we decide who will battle it out for the winning spot. So we are waiting for the games to go live as the Beast Bianchi. It's crazy because I keep forgetting we have Bobo Beast and we have the Beast Bianchi. Yeah, we have a lot of beasts in this particular tournament, but only one beast will probably make it through. And our game is live, ladies and gentlemen. I leave you in the very capable hands of Tendo and Snare.
Thank you, Dr. Sid, Mr. Tendo. We are the Beast versus Moby. The Beast is the one that's definitely favored, I think, on all our minds, right? So what does Moby have to do? If you're in his shoes, having seen the Beast form recently, what do you do to try and beat him?
Yeah, I mean, it's like going up against Man City at this point, right? You just have to analyze your opponent, get a game plan, and, you know, try implement your game plan as well as you can. And I mean, you said Moby is a very consistent player in his own regard, so I think he's not too afraid of this matchup, and he knows he can put the point on the board if it is needed. So Atal has the ball, making a bit of a crazy attack there, but nothing comes from it just yet.
Yeah, unfortunately can't get anything going from there. Game will be underway, and like you mentioned, consistency is going to be quite important for him. But I think the main thing is making sure you're not scored against what might happen here. Oh, nice defense. Ensuring that he can still stay a little bit clean for now, but things aren't over. Unfortunately for him, the Beast a little bit too good on the defense, and he's immediately in on the counter attack.
Yeah, counter attack going in. Interesting player that he's playing down there on the wing. Haven't seen him being utilized too much yet, and now the ball's onto Renato Sanchez, onto Atal. Beast trying to make something from this play towards the top end of the field. Mbappe good with his feet, gonna be good with the pass as well. Passes it back to Mbappe. Beast looking dangerous here. Can Beast make something from this, or is Moby's defense gonna be a brick wall and stop him where he is? And it's looking like that's exactly what's gonna happen as the turnover is on.
Last ditch tackle from De Jong, able to open up potentially a counter attack here. Harry Kane, a player that we do not see very often. We did make mention of the fact that Moby, one of the few people to use both Kane and Barnes, and he's sticking to that formula. Hasn't yet netted him success, but sometimes a little bit of stubbornness is what you need to stay at the tier 1 level. Unfortunately for him, stubborn is somewhat a definition of the Beast, as he's stubbornly running down this flank with Mbappe, looking potentially for another goaltender.
Yeah, Beast looking very dangerous on his attacks here. That's a big reason why if he wins this game, he's going to be top of the leaderboard. Very consistent, not dropping any points just yet. Beast looking to make an opening here. Not much he can do. Nani with the ball, and De Jong going to be there with a great tackle to get it back. Turnover. He's going to be able to make an attack for himself now, Moby, if he can find some space here. But it looks like things are being held down well in the middle field here for the side of the Beast.
He's not heading through any space at the moment for Moby to exploit. Interesting to note that he has Nani and Gullit as well. Gullit, someone we expected to see a lot more in a lot of players, and he was featured quite heavily in the opening week, but has fallen off quite since. Renato Sanchez now the favored DM for a lot of the teams, and Deep Moby doesn't really need any results, and I think the game is going to slow down a little bit from here because both players seem to be figuring out the attacking patterns of the other. Moby knows for a fact that he needs to be very heavily focused on shutting down Mbappe here on this flank as well. The Beast is aware that he has to be in position to outline those deep crossing runs, and there we see it again. Moby prepared for this attack, snuffs it out. So since the game is slowed down a bit, right, who do you think is favored in this situation, the Beast or Moby, if we don't have an explosive opening to the game?
I mean, I think the Beast should still be favored in this situation. I think he's a little bit more structured, and he knows exactly how he's going to implement his gameplay into this. And you can see it already. He's going to be playing a lot towards that side on the wing where Mbappe is, because Mbappe is pretty much his main runner in this team. And he creates a lot of space. And as soon as Atal is able to get into space from Mbappe's run, it's a very deadly combination. And I mean, Renato Sanchez also controls things so nicely in the middle of the field. So yeah, it's a bit of a difficult one, but not to look away at how good Moby is when he gets the ball and turns over for counter-attacks as well.
He needs to try and get the ball back, because at this moment the Beast is pressing quite heavily up the pitch. Interplay between a lot of his players, Gullit and Renato Sanchez, also brought very high up. So he's trying to overload the attack here, but this might leave him vulnerable on the defense. It also will come to pass. Unfortunately, Moby himself, to stay safe, had to bring as many players back as humanly possible. So does mute the opportunities for a counter-attack. Still, though, it's more important to prevent a goal than to just easily open up an opportunity for another one. And he's going to pause. I think he's going to take a breather here. I'm not sure if he's going to make any actual changes to his strategy, but the main thing is also that he can keep his composure against an opponent like the Beast.
Yeah, I mean, 35 minutes in, it's still a deadlock so far. And I mean, it's interesting, right? Because you're looking at somebody who's sitting at 7th position and somebody who's sitting at either, I think, 2nd right now. And it's a very level game. So it goes to show that I think Moby has just had a couple of unlucky runs and he's looking to turn things over in this game right now, especially since he hasn't conceded anything. So we'll see how well things can go for Moby. Kane on the ball now, passing it, trying to create some space. Moby is, but it's going to be a bit slow for the build-up.
Interestingly enough, the Beast actually decided to make a substitution. I didn't see which player was brought off in that situation, but we might be able to talk about it because he has their own goal! Oh no! Mobizilla, Messi with the assist, bounces off the defense and it goes to the back of the net. How unfortunate, how unfortunate. It doesn't actually manage to connect. But who cares how it goes into the back of the net as long as it gets there. 1-0 up right now for Mobizilla against the Beast.
Yeah, and maybe he's a little bit lucky today, you know? And that's gonna be that one little edge that he's gonna need to take full control of this game, Moby, now that he's gonna be a little bit more comfortable. And I think that's also showing maybe a few of the nerves of the Beast, knowing that he can be top of the table after the end of the day. And he doesn't want to drop points, obviously, because as soon as he drops this point, regardless of if he has 6, now there's unfazed, you know, that can come on top of you. Now Masoon can start, you know, pulling ahead of you. And you don't want that to happen in a competition like this. You want to stay on level with your competitors as you can. So far, Moby doing good with his recovery mission from the bottom of the table.
Moby ahead right now, doing everything he can to keep this lead and demonstrate that it wasn't a fluke. He gets himself here a lead heading into the first half. To discuss just before the goal went through was that the Beast made a change himself in terms of his players. I'm not sure which player was substituted. Either way, the question might be asked, did the change at the time that it come affect the shape of the Beast? Did it affect his concentration? If the pause doesn't happen and the pace of the game is still as fast as it is there that opening goal? Or do we still stay at level pegging? We will never know. The Beast made his decision. Moby capitalized. And now Moby wants to stay ahead. Do you think he's got this, Tendo?
Yeah, I mean, we'll have to wait and see. I mean, that's just one half of 2 legs as well, you know? So we'll have to wait and see how the Beast has to respond to this. And I mean, substitutions is one of those things, you know, funny that you mentioned it, where it's either you get a super sub who creates opportunities that nobody else on the pitch has been creating and he just explodes, or you get that sub in that maybe just messes up the chemistry of the team and slows things down. So maybe that's what happened there in that situation and why there was a little bit of a stumble in that attack to defend it. But now, De Jong with the ball for Moby. Oh, this is looking a little bit dangerous, and the chip is on! Oof, that was cheeky.
I'm pretty sure that if you went and checked, you'd find that this man would be sorted into Slytherin House because that was just too full of ambition. Way too much ambition on that one. Well, I think a golden opportunity might have come from that, but somewhat not expecting how much space he found himself in. Now, still have to defend. Looks it's in the shape here. I don't think the Beast will have an easy way getting himself through, but he's going to make this attempt regardless. Nani going for the aggressive dribble. Step over, going to be successful. He's still on the touchline. Dribbles it back into Mbappe, but the pass goes a little bit awry from the Beast. Renato Sanchez doesn't get possession, and suddenly Moby's back on attack.
Yeah, back on attack, but squanders it quickly. So back to the defense of Moby onto Shaw. Shaw plays it. Moby doing well here, trying to open up some space on the wing, trying to get past Cancelo, but Cancelo's good. He holds his ground, but it is going to go in for a throw-in.
I'm really curious as to what the logic was for the change and who he actually brought off. I think it was one of the defenders now that I'm looking at the shape. I think he might have brought on Cancelo, but no other changes made just yet as Moby still searching for his second goal here. The Beast desperate for his first one. It's still 2 legs, so he has some time. Doesn't have to make any really moves just yet. And he's the Beast. He knows that once he scores one, then the goals will come. So no need to rush it for now.
Yeah, and I mean, FIFA is definitely a momentum-based game. It's just about finding that momentum. So as soon as Beast can get on the scoring board, I'm sure we'll see some more from him. He's trying to make some passing plays here, but I just think the structure of the defense on Mobi is just so solid today that it's really hard for him to penetrate any of these plays, and maybe Beast needs to become a little bit more risky. I mean, we saw it in yesterday's game. There was that one goal after we started talking about, you know, taking a few riskier shots that might not always lead to a goal, but sometimes you do need those opportunities. Maybe the Beast needs to do the same here.
See if he's going to try go for those 5%, 7% opportunities that might still lead to success, as he's on the ball now, running it up with Renato Sanchez. Gets it up to Atal, having a hard time with the dribbles past Young. Mobi being very, very intuitive with his positioning here on the defense, but Julio, there's all the tenacity in the world, but unfortunately the tackle still comes. And you can almost hear the crowd here for Mobi celebrating the dispossession, because now here he is back on attack. Short to Barnes. Barnes is in on space here. This might be the crucial attack. Unfortunately, the cross gets blocked. It stays 1-0.
71 minutes down. Now it's actually going in for a throw-in, so this could be a little bit dangerous here if the Beast isn't ready for this one. Finds Kane. Kane trying to make something happen, but doesn't seem like it's going to go through. It's a corner now for Mobi. What can Mobi do from this situation? He's going to play for the cross. The header not good. Maybe the rebound, but it looks like it's actually going to go to the Beast.
This might be dangerous here. Couple of really fast pacey players in on the break. Atal the first one off the line, and what a strong challenge. Takes him out from the air, and now this is space that he might have exploited. Messi on the ball. This is a guaranteed goal. Oh my goodness.
Offside.
And offside. Oh,
it was too good to be true, Snare. Too good to be true. I was like, no ways he runs past all those defenders like that. But yeah, Beast can breathe a little bit now after that offside call. But I mean, hey, that's a little bit shaky at that point still, man. I mean, it shows that his defense is a little bit weak right now if things like that are slipping through. So now he needs to make something happen. There's not much time left in this game. We're going down to the last 10 minutes almost. So what can the Beast do here?
Unfortunately, there was nothing, because the dispossession on the block will be good enough to keep the ball back from Mobi. And now it's all about game management from the young man. He has some very two strong DMs, but he gives away the ball there. That it might come back to bite him, because now Mbappe, instead of having to get past the defender, was free for a forward run. But yet again, good positioning from Mobi. And even though he keeps messing up the passes, his positioning is so good. What is happening? Oh man, it's almost like part of him wants to give up a goal and the other half is like, hell no. And it stays a clean sheet.
I think in terms of reading your opponent, I think Mobi's done well. He's closing down the space where, you know, the Beast would normally be making his runs, and he's predicting a lot of these passes and intercepting them really well. So it's tough for Beast right now to find anything at all. I mean, he's got such a good attacking front, but they're unable to capitalize. And I mean, look at that. Defender, right place, right time. Takes it away. 86 minutes. Beast, you need something if you want to draw this game up at this point.
Not like this. Okay, it's going to be a corner. I would have been very disappointed in Mobi. That's actually a goal kick. What? Okay. Well, and like you mentioned, Mobi has been extremely good at being able to read his opponents, read the game that the Beast is bringing to the table. He's almost completely downloaded the type of that the Beast is employing. Like getting ahead of his passes before the passes themselves even come out, dispossessing him all the time, making this extremely difficult, despite the fact that the Beast has done a really great job of getting the ball into this final third. Unlike the contest we saw yesterday, for example, where one of our primary complaints with Bobo was, can he just make the final finish? Here the question is, can he just get through this final third defense? Because that's where it's super rock solid right now for Mobi, leading into the end of the first game.
Yeah, a bunch of subs rolling in, quite a few, so he's trying to give it his all towards this end part of the game. Gonna clear it far down the pitch, and maybe he can get that. So no, the defender is strong to get that goal kick. Mbappe now on it. Maybe this is it. Can he do something? Dying embers, but De Jong is in the right place at the right time. And is this the final attack here at the end of the game? Kane with the amazing through ball with the chip Moby. He gets it at the end. The dying embers like a flame. He bursts into light. What a way to finish.
What a way to finish. The sparks come back. The revival is on. Mobizilla 2-0. Julio, the Beast Binachi in game 1. And I was saying that he was overly ambitious with that first attempt with the chip on goal. But little did I know he wasn't ambitious enough. This time from even further out, goes for that chip and he gets it into the back of the net. Wow. It almost felt like it had to happen, right? After that missed offside call earlier where it came really late, everyone's celebrating, everyone's getting hype. After all the times he was denied, Moby gets it. And given that he was the underdog, what do you think this is doing for his confidence going into leg 2?
Yeah, I mean, you have to be confident after that, you know, especially when you get a last-minute goal like that. You're really playing on the mental of your opponent at that point because it shows that you can score at any moment. You're not safe at all. So now the Beast needs to be, you know, tying things down a little bit better in the back line because it's not looking good at all so far. I mean, most of the attacking, you know, came from Moby in that game, I think. You know, Moby was creating a lot of good chances as well as the Beast, but I just felt like every time the Beast was attacking, there was a defender in front of him just intercepting or getting the ball. So it didn't even feel like he was really getting an opportunity. It just felt like he was just trying to open up space, which he wasn't finding.
Yeah, exactly like what you mentioned, right? Every single time he gets those runs, if you get crowded out, it doesn't matter how many times you're in the final third. It matters what you do once you're there. And if you're kept from doing anything effective, and the player that keeps you from doing those effective things is always the one that's favored. And now, going into the second one, this is rare that we find the Beast behind going into the second leg. So usually we're like, okay, it's a draw or something. But now, it's not just a draw, but it's a situation where he genuinely looked outplayed in the first leg. If you're him, if you are one of the South Africa's best, what do you do to adjust going into the second leg?
Yeah, I mean, at this point, it's really just about, you know, revising that first leg and seeing what didn't work and trying to implement something new, you know. So a little bit more shots maybe when it's a low percentage chance to score, maybe trying to play a different side of the wing because he leans very heavy to that Mbappe wing, which works, but it doesn't seem like it's, you know, doing too well for him. So maybe he needs to flip that around and try to work the other side and test Moby on the opposite end, because I think he's prepared for that Mbappe attack. And I mean, it makes sense at this point, right? We know the players like Neymar, Mbappe, Atal, you need to close those players down or else it's going to be wraps when they get into, you know, that box and they have an opportunity to score.
Speaking of really highly impactful players, right? Julio, both players in this particular instance doing something new. For Moby, not really new. He's been doing this consistently with the Kane Bonds duo, but we do not see Nani at all. Nobody plays this person, but except for Julio, he's the first person to bring this out here. Do you think that the inclusion justified this? Because what was he playing last week? Last time he played, I think he did have, was it Neymar or Ronaldo? He had one of the two, and he definitely opted to bring one of them out for Nani. Do you think that was the right call here as we go into leg 2?
Look, I mean, at the end of the day, as well for the Beast, he's at the top of the table, even if he loses this game, right? So it's maybe him trying to experiment, but, you know, it's not always a good time to experiment, but obviously he's got a little bit of practice with Nani, you know, in that position, and maybe he's trying to see what Nani can create for him and, you know, the opportunities. But as we tune back in to the second leg here in the Umzansi Esports League FIFA 2021 section, it's mostly the Beast here doing most of the work.
Had that ball from the kickoff. Doesn't manage to find an early goal with this. I know a lot of players really heavily favor the momentum you can build off of a kickoff goal, but doesn't happen all the time, so you can't rely on that as a method to success. Now Moby can't find the deep run. That was a really strong interception. We actually saw the Beast moving up and down, almost trying to read exactly where Moby was going to go, and he read it correctly. So this might be a good tidings for him going into the second leg, that he's been thinking very carefully about what happened. We'll see how this attack pans out though, as spending more time on the ball, not just going for the straight dribbles. Still doesn't manage to break down the defense of Moby, but it seemed a little bit more promising to him.
Yeah, it did look a little bit more promising, but it's again Moby able to read the game well, just closes that attack out, and he's just, you know, applying pressure, but he's just unable to burst the bubble, you know. So he's just looking for that opportunity when he can get that you know, that if shot in past that defender, but it's not working good. And it looks like he's doing another substitution, right? Ruben went off, or
Yeah.
not too sure who's popping in for him. Maybe it's Nani. It is Nani again. So that's interesting that he's doing that 2 times each game. So it's almost as if he plays with the one player up until the first stoppage when the ball goes out to see how much impact that player has, and then he brings in Nani to, you know, continue out the rest of the game.
Let's see how the rest of the game will pan out from this point. Nani, and on the ball back to Messi. Messi actually gonna go for the shot. Does not manage to get the goal. Oh wait, no. Nani was on. He took off. Diaz for Messi. So he wants to overlay it. Out the attack. He's like, you know what? Screw it. I'm not going out like this. If I'm going out, I'm going out a swinging. Because here he is, looking for more forward momentum here. Over for corner kick. Zambrata possessed. But what do you make of this option, Zendo? The more attack-oriented substitution very early on in the.
Yeah, I mean, the best defense is a good attack, so maybe that's his thinking and maybe that's his game plan for this second leg, considering how things went. And that pass, offside. So it's going to breathe a little bit, the beast. And, I mean, I'm highlighting right now PK, strong defender so far for Moby. He's just been a rock. And I think every time I see PK on one of these, you know, teams in this Umzansi Esports League, he's just a rock, and he's there for the defense, and he's keeping things structured. So I think that's a really big key for the success so far of Moby being able to close down this attack.
Foul just gets drawn right there. So ball will be given back towards Moby. Bit more time for him to think about this. Play carefully. Make sure that he keeps this clean sheet as far forward as humanly possible. Thing is, he's been catching these offside traps, or being caught within the offside traps, but it still bodes well for him being able to find the space to get those runs through in the first place. So Moby, I'm gonna try again now. Kane tackled. Referee. Okay. Bring it. I don't think this is the most friendly angle, B, but still could be a chance for him to play the ball out back into midfield.
It's Shaw on the ball, trying to play it forwards, not really finding anybody, but it's actually going to go out for a throw in here. So this can be dangerous if the Beast doesn't lock things down. Still sitting 2-0 at the end of the day, right, on the aggregate. So he's still down for the most part. And if he keeps letting Moby attack and stay in his half right now, he's just, you know, bleeding out the time at this point as well. And I think Moby knows that as well. As long as he can keep attacking, the Beast can't. And that's going to result in his win.
Absolutely. Right now, he might be caught on the counter here. Only 4 players back. The pass gets through to Nani. Nani goes for the goal. Unfortunately, Edison. My God, what goalkeeping. Moby doesn't lose his composure and try to force the keeper off the line. Stays in position, able to prevent Nani. Julio still staring at 0 goals, still staring at a loss. And the leg number 2 still at level pegging.
So now there's PK again, putting in the work, putting in the shift. Oof, Edison tumbling a little bit, but shouldn't be too much of a problem for them to clean up. Nani now on the ball, and the player slips past Mbappe, and it's Edison again to stop. Can Nani rebound this? And Nani slams it into the back of the net. And there's that impact player, and that's why he's using him. Nani able to just send that pass to everybody.
Not many players in the game could get literally 2 touches on the ball in that tight of a space and still get a shot off. Nani, one of those players. Not many players in the world can make Nani do it. Julio, one of those players, and as a result, into the back of the net. We have a goal. We have a game on our hands because Moby might be feeling more comfortable with the 2-goal lead versus Julio, but when it's only 1, you can never feel comfortable against the Beast, especially now that he's tasted blood. We've seen this guy, once he starts scoring, he never wants to stop. So now is when it becomes extremely dangerous. Moby, can he keep his composure and keep his defense that strong? I think it's because he panicked a little bit with all that overloading. You know, he blocks 2 shots, doesn't manage to keep his same clean tackling. As a result, he's afraid of giving up a penalty. Things go weird, and now things might go weirder again. But the attack sniffled out because Moby seems to, at least for now, be back to his normal calm self from earlier.
Moby now trying to structure an attack of his own, but the defense of the Beast is strong, but yeah, great tackle, but not good enough as the attack is still on. So now Moby in a good spot. He goes for the lasher, but there's a body in front of him and there's nothing he can do, and we're gonna pull into the halftime. So in this game, it's 1-0 on aggregate. It's 2-1. So whew, it's a tense one here today as well.
Extremely tense because the way that it is now, the Beast seems to have hit a switch. Doesn't feel like his attacks are as impotent, right? Right after he got the goal, immediately the next one that he made forward, though it was defended again, seemed threatening. And we started talking about it earlier in the game that we saw some signs of life from him. Looked like he sort of thought and deeply about what happened in leg one and had adapted accordingly. And it's looking like that threat might still be more potent than we ever thought as we head into the second half, the final half of this tie. Here is the Beast's last opportunity to either get a goal, to force a draw, get 2 goals to force a win, or find himself losing. What's he gonna do? Moby desperate for the first win, and it looks like it's causing him to play a little bit more, not necessarily quietly, but a bit more considerately before he tries to get a run forward.
Oh, what a through ball onto Mbappe, and Mbappe gonna run it down with the fancy footwork. And Mbappe, almost single-handedly after such an amazing pass, carries it forward before the Beast. We're tied up now. It's 2-2. Oh, the boos are coming out from the crowd. They don't like to see it. We love to see it though, Snare. This is a competition, and this is what it's about.
That must be so demoralizing for Moby. Not only the goal itself, but the fact that he's been trying to get that exact same goal going across both legs. Deep searching runs with Messi. Been caught offside at least 3 times attempting it. The first time that the Beast tries that he gets a goal, not only a goal, but brings them back level. And now Moby's first opportunity for a win suddenly crumbling before his very eyes because the Beast, all the momentum might just be in his favor now. He's back in on attack. Oh my goodness, what do you do now? And like, just to try and mentally reset. Like, in terms of how he plays on the field, I think he's still okay, but I think he's reeling right now in terms of his confidence.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, you gotta just play the remainder of this game as if, you know, the game just started, right? So you need to just reset and rebound. And what I'm liking from the Beast is the Beast has analyzed Moby's gameplay and is almost doing the exact same thing that Moby was doing in that first leg, closing down his attacks quite well, getting the good interceptions, putting his defenders in the right spot. And there's a good example of it happening. He's just there in the right time, right place. What we were busy saying about Moby last game is what we're recommending the Beast for now. As Immortalz on the attack, maybe this is going to be the sinker. Is this what he's going to do to sink the ship of Mobizilla?
He's looking for that opportunity now. Gets the ball into Messi. Messi, the deep pass to Nani. Nani dribbles past the keeper and with style, flair, and grace, Nani slots it into the back of the net. Gets a brace. 3 goals for Julio. The Beast is ahead on aggregate 3-2. And suddenly it's a winning matchup. Oh my goodness. Moby crushed right now because the Beast, once he's tasted blood, he will never be satisfied until he's feasting on a corpse.
I mean, at this point, I'd honestly say it's 4-1 to the Beast since he scored that own goal in that first leg. So he's the only one scoring in this matchup so far. But yeah, I mean, Moby's got it in him. He just needs to compose himself. I don't know what's happened. He's just crumbled all of a sudden. He just needs to get his bearings back and do what he was doing so well in that first leg to hold the Beast. Hopefully.
One thing that I was gonna say that one thing I noticed that sort of changed for me in terms of how they were playing out the match is that the Beast, because he's searching for these longer balls, he started holding a ball more in the midfield and taking advantage of the fact that, think of the attackers that we see on the side of Moby. Harry Kane, Barnes, Bruno Fernandes. Not the paciest attacking forwards or extremely talented on the ball, but if they struggle to make those really aggressive runs, as long as you block off the entirety of the midfield, they can't actually do anything. And we see here, if you overload a game like this, these players, where can they pass through? Where can they dribble through? And because he knows that he's the one with the Mbappes, he's the one with the Immortalz, he's the one that has that pace in order to get those deep, strong counterattacks, he can afford to play like this, whereas this kind of playstyle not very comfortable for Mobi.
Yeah, no, 100% agree with you. So finally, the Beast has found his strength in this game, and he's pulling it around, and you have to commend him. The cross comes in. It looks like it's going good. Mess still on the ball. That shot squandered, blocked by a defender, but it's back for the rebound. Mobi desperate at this point. 73 minutes on the board. De Jong with the ball. No way forward, but there's just a little bit here. But he can't find it. Defenders off the mark as well as the keeper, and they're ready to cover for that.
Kasper Schmeichel keeps it 3-2. Mobi at this point just needs the one goal. He will not be happy with getting a second draw, but he will definitely take it over a loss, and he might get it. Harry Kane can't get past Schmeichel for the second time in a row. Blocked off, and it stays 3-0. The Beast maintains his lead, and Mobi, the dreams, is this going to be him getting crushed and the lead slipping somehow into a loss?
I mean, it was for a while the Edison game. Edison making some crazy saves, and now on the opposite end, it's Schmeichel who's showing up for the Beast. Beast now on another attack. Messi with the ball. Can he find something here to finally close this one out? Finally take the top of the table here and be the leader, leading in for this end week of this Umzansi Esports League.
It's past to João Cancelo. The Beast. Will he put this to bed? 2 goals might be insurmountable with the amount of time left, but he might also just be comfortable going in for some game management. Take it easy, take it slow. Provided he keeps the ball, will prevent any kind of attempt from Mobi. But here might be the final attack. Zambrana on the touchline. The ball back to Messi. And that is just going to be the nail in the coffin. The Beast scores another goal, 4-0 in the second leg. Zambrana carries it almost by himself from defense into attack down to Messi, and it's a goal. And that's it, Tendo. That's it.
Yeah, I mean, unless something crazy happens and Mobi's able to score 2 goals in the 3 minutes he has, plus additional time, it's almost over. And I mean, that final goal just felt like the defense was asleep. It felt like Mobi was asleep. He just let that one slide in, honestly, at that point. So he's going to be a little bit disappointed, but maybe this is his consolation goal. You know, goal difference still at the end of the day matters, so maybe he can close down the gap here. But the defense right now is parked. There's everybody on this ball. They're swarming him out. There's no hope. 1 minute left of additional time, and he's going to kick it out and pull that game. And what a performance from the Beast to pull that one back. And that just has to show his mental fortitude, honestly. Yes, it's like, ooh, he's on it. He didn't crack at all under the pressure. He just pulled it back.
I call that the decimation of Mobizilla. The decimation of Mobizilla. I was very impressed with the first game. I thought, oh my God, we've got someone, he's coming through. First game, amazing energy. Gave it 2-0. Second game, it was like, what did you think was happening? I was just letting you feel comfortable. I felt like he should have just gone and played possession football, like held on to the ball. I don't have to score the goals, you have to come to me. You know, but as it happens, this is FIFA 21. It is the Umzansi Esports League. There are surprises. Look at our winner, the Beast Binachi, coming through with full beast mode.
Yeah.
And decimating Mobizilla 4-0 in the second leg after 2-0 in the first leg to take the tie 4-2. Guys, then they'll explain what happened in that second game.
I think the Beast turned on, you know, in that second game. I feel like the first game, we commended Mobi a lot for how he managed that game. And I think the word I want to use there is managed, because I think he just managed through that. You know, he got gifted an own goal, which I think played on the mental of the Beast a little bit, and it then awarded his second goal. And from there, I think Beast was just trying to analyze and get ready for the second leg. And that's exactly what happened. He got ready for the second leg. He came through, showed what he can do. He countered the play style of Mobi. And that's why he's sitting at the top of the table right now, as you can see, with 3 wins under his belt.
Yeah, and Snare literally sending Mobizilla down into the gallows.
Yep.
The Beast pulling, I don't even know what to call it. What would you say the Beast just did to Mobizilla, honestly? I want to hear your opinion.
So what he basically just did, right? This was a championship victory in the sense that he completely studied his opponents and figured out exactly what I need to do to beat him. He loses the first leg, but over the course of the few seasons of the Umzansi Esports League, one of the things we've always said about the Beast is that you can never, ever be comfortable with anything less than 4 goals against him because he will figure you out. He will figure out a way to counterattack you. And the Beast, right? He tries a lot of different things, and we saw that at the beginning of the game. A lot of different approaches to the attack. But once he finds one that works, that's it. It's done. It's done so. More will come. And you have to score as many as you can in as short a time as possible before he scores the second, the third, the fourth. And the thing is, the Beast in this situation, we sort of spoke about it in the game. He identified exactly what he needs to do to prevent Moby from having an effective game and allow himself the best chance forward of scoring as many goals possible. And then he just did it casually. It's not casual. It's extremely difficult to do at this level. But if you're the Beast, it was only Tuesday.
It was only Tuesday, but today is Saturday, the second day in our weekend of packed action from the Umzansi Esports League Season 3, brought to you by Nordwind Gaming. This has been the FIFA 21 segment. You have seen the Beast Binachi put on, as I always like to say, a masterclass in FIFA 21 against Mobizilla to put himself at the top of the table. There is more FIFA 21 coming up tomorrow. I want to give a big shout out to Snare Dendo for giving us some amazing insights into this dope, hot fire game, as we will take a break and be back for some more action in the PUBG segment. Ladies and gentlemen, it has been Dr. Sid, Snare, and Dendo Plays, and I will see you right after this break. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. This is still the Umzansi Esports League Season 3 brought to you by Nodwing Gaming, and we are here back and live for some PUBG Mobile action. My name is Dr. Sid. I have to say it like James Bond because I'm here with two special agents who are here to give you all the action that happens from Erangel to Sandhawk to Miramar. Is Esproxy and Apache, and everybody's looking so cold and covered. And Esproxy, whatever that hoodie is, I definitely want that. And Patchy, I'm waiting on my delivery with the windbreaker. How you doing, guys?
Pretty good, pretty good. Pretty cold, but pretty good.
Patchy looks like he has something to say.
I mean, yeah, we out here. We out here.
We out here. Okay. We out here. And ladies and gentlemen, we're about to take a look at what the standings look like right now in the PUBG Mobile tournament.
Yeah, this is always the interesting one. We've had some serious competition for the top of this log. Not that it matters all that much aside from the bragging points, but here it is. Games United Nations, 232 points in that first place. Absolutely nuts. Keeping their lead, of course, G3 Temper very close behind them, catching up just bit by bit, sitting there 206 points for them. Zero Tolerance close behind, 203 in third place. So your top three has been highly contested here. Slime 4KT, of course, coming in fourth with 193. Undisputed AE sitting 141 in fifth place. We got the Immortalz in sixth with 140 points. Sincerity Esports in seventh position with 136, and Aphelion Apex in eighth with 131. So this score's looking really, really spicy up in the top there. Moving on into that ninth spot, we've got the Drogons, 131 points to their name. Influence Rage in the 10th spot, 127. Natural Killers with a 125 in 11. We've got NFxUNIQUE in with 1, 2, 3 and 12. We've got BBC in 13th position with 114. We've got Rainbow Six Madagascar in 14th with 110. And Euphoric Gods sitting in 15th with 103, as well as Lag at 103 in 16th spots. Of course, all these teams nice and safe for the time being. We are all the way down into our last 24, 17 to 24, that is. Pain Africa sitting in that 17th spot, 101 points. Rain from Hell with 98 in 18. We've got the Comfy Cartel with 97 in 19th position. Ultra 6 in 20th with 93. We've got Fear in 21st with 92. And Outsiders Official with 91 in 22. Young Thundercats with 23 in with 90 points there. Not Gaming in that 24th spot with 89. Now that's actually a highly contested spot right there. Not Gaming sitting on the cusp of relegation. And then speaking of relegation, this right here is your relegation zone, 25 to 30. It's Spaza 6, Black Clover Citizens, Nibble Esports, Toxic Esports, and Blanca Legion that are your 25 to 30, sorry, respectively. The teams that really need to get something going here to try and get out of that relegation zone. And the only way to do it is to get those points going. And this is how you earn them. First place, obviously, getting you those 15 points. Second, getting you 12. Third, getting you 10. Fourth, getting you 8. Fifth, getting you 6. Sixth, getting you 4. Seventh, getting you 2. 8 to 12 will be 1. And then you get nothing if you land in 13 to 16th spot. And then it's, of course, 1 kill, 1 point. So yeah, that's how you get out of that zone. And we've seen some serious work being done. I mean, we saw, I think it was yesterday or maybe the day before, Zero Tolerance Skills walk away with an insane amount of points in a single game. And speaking about insane numbers, here's an insane number for you. 17,500 seasonal prize pool right here. 15,000 of that, which is the PUBG Mobile prize pool. 2.5, of course, going to FIFA 21. So if you're not here and you're not trying to get here, then you're missing out on some serious money.
Yes, you are missing out on some serious money, and if you're not watching out on some serious action. And once again, I have to tell everyone, if you aren't following Nodwing Gaming on all our socials, you need to do so. It is very important because you get up to date with all the action coming from the Umzansi Esports League, as well as all our other assets. Now, as Proxy, today we have two amazing groups going at the guys from Group A and the guys from Group C. Talk us through who we're looking at and what we're expecting.
Yeah, definitely. I think this is. We were actually talking about it off screen. I think every time I'm casting with Patchy, this is one of the groups that I'm casting. So Group A definitely got some heavy hitters. I mean, you've got Undisputed AE. They've definitely been showing up a few times. Aphelion Apex have also had their moments, the moments where they've really impressed us. Then we've got a few teams coming through from the Nkosi Super Cup. You know, like Ultra Six, Blank Legion, and Black Clover, who have fought their way up to be here in the Umzansi teams. They've shown a little bit of a resemblance of hope here and there. They've given us some little sparkles of potential. We're still waiting to see how it's going to end up for them though. But look, moving on to Group C. Now, Gamers United Nations, of course, they're the team that is sitting in that top spot. That is sitting quite happily in that top spot. Pain Africa, one of the teams that I remember from Somalia, taking 2 winner chicken dinners in a row in I think it was last weekend actually. So they've been definitely some of the teams that we've been looking out for. Drogons also some of those teams that really do well to make it into the top 3. Comfy Cartel, one of the teams to continuously catch themselves in the middle of like 5 or 4 teams, and unfortunately falling victim to those third parties. But they've definitely shown that they can deal with the pressure. So those are some of the teams that I'm looking out for. Nibble Esports and Toxic, Lag, Natural Killers. You know, they show up now and then, but I know that they can do better, and I'm waiting for them. They've definitely shown us the skills are there. They're just waiting for their moment.
Now, looking at the matchup of the two groups, there are a very large number of teams who are in the bottom of the table in these two groups. And this looks like a great opportunity for them playing, obviously, amongst themselves to gather some points and make it up at that leaderboard, because you're not playing against some of the bigger teams. Of course, we see Gun is in this particular matchup, and we know that they're going to come hard when they go in. So we are looking forward to some amazing action in today's games. We've got 3 matches coming up today, from Erangel to Sandhawk to Miramar, and these teams have a opportunity to show their skills and move up these leaderboard. I'm extremely impressed by a team like the Drogons, who literally were wallowing in obscurity, and all of a sudden they're in 13th place and showing up that they can be a contender. Reminding everyone once again that only the top 24 teams make it through to the next round. So these guys definitely have to come through. Proxy, who are you looking out for today? Who are your picks for a top 5 finish? Let's see who's going to surprise us, who's going to bring their A game. I don't know. You know, you've seen a lot of these teams, and you know what they can do. So what are we expecting today from the teams in this matchup?
I mean, it goes without saying, but obviously we're all looking at Gun. We're all looking to see where they're going. I mean, they're currently leading the pack, regardless of not playing as much as Temper did. And Temper really started strong. I mean, they started just running away, and then all of a sudden Gun came out of the woodworks, and they were like, hey, guess what, we're going to take that top spot, and we're going to give you a 30-point gap to work with. So they're definitely one of the teams, of course, that everyone's watching. Drogons, I feel like Drogons have been a very consistent team making it into those top spots. They fall victim to a lot of third parties flanks. I mean, the amount of times I find them getting flanked by one solo player coming out of the woodworks, it's unfortunate, but it happens. It's battle royale at the end there. So them, I'm definitely looking out for. Ultra Six as well, a team that have surprised me now and then, and Pain Africa especially. Those guys, after the double winner chicken dinner, the performance they were putting up, I'm holding a candle for them. I'm going to see them do well today.
Well, we're going to be hoping that all our teams do well today. We do know that is impossible. There have to be losers and there have to be winners, and winners taking home chicken dinners. Yesterday, we saw some teams playing a bit more flexible and relatively reckless because they were already in safe spots, Pachi. Today, as we are flying in, tell us what we expect. Are we expecting to see more of that type of aggression? As I leave you guys to talk us through the blow by blow, I will see you after the game.
Yeah, well, thank you so much, Dr. Sid. And as we head into our first map for today, that of course being Erangel in this Group C versus A. The question is, what are we going to be seeing from these teams here? Are we going to be seeing those teams taking a bit of a chance like we saw yesterday? Honestly, I think my focus is actually going to be mostly on the teams coming up from behind. I think the teams at the top, we've spoken a lot about them over the season, and I think at the moment they've solidified their spot. They're here, they're at the top, and whether they win or not is pretty much irrelevant to that point. I think that the teams that I'm keeping my eye on at the moment are teams like Black Clover, teams like Spaza 6, sitting, in pretty risky positions towards the bottom of the log, who may just want to jack the game up just a little bit and try and boost themselves out of the tough spots.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I mean, as you said time and time again, those are the teams that have nothing to lose, right? Those are the teams that should be taking those risks, that should be making the plays, because at this point, if they don't, well, then you're not in that top 24, and then you're out for the count if we finish off the weekend. I actually think it's this week. I might not. We'll talk about the scheduling a little bit later, but looking at that zone right now, towards the top left side of the map, Georgia Pool, shooting range, all of those wonderful places, and a lot of the teams are actually heading towards that because of the flight path. We've got a few teams there towards military base. They're going to be fighting it out, and a few there towards Malta Power, and some actually heading to Stolber, so that's interesting. It looks like Natural Killers might be looking to take Stolber. In the meantime, though, I think majority of the teams, they're pretty close for the rotations, so there shouldn't be any stress there. But what I'm interested to see is those teams, that are sitting, as I say, that Drogons actually finding a little bit of contention early on. But those teams that are sitting in those close spots, that are sitting in the same areas as everyone else, that are they going to go for the fights? Are they going to go for those risky plays? Because again, especially some of the teams that are sitting there below that 24 point spot, they need to make the plays. They need to get points. This is one of their last opportunities to do so. And actually, I was right. This is the last weekend before we head through to the semifinals. So if you don't make your points this weekend, that's it. Then you're not going through to semis.
Yeah, absolutely. You are very, very right about that. It is the final weekend here that we've got. So today and tomorrow being the last few games. Today, of course, as we know, it is a C versus A, and tomorrow it is B versus D. So yeah, you can look forward to that coming in tomorrow. Speaking of today, though, we have some teams on the list that definitely could use some points coming through. They could use a little bit of a boost up. I mentioned Black Clover and Spaza 6 already. I mean, they're in the sort of the top of the last page. So if they ever had a chance to make it up, I mean, this is now. This is it. Black Clover, I think they are down maybe 10, 20 points. The same thing for Not Gaming. I mean, they're sitting at about 89. Obviously, they're not playing. Not Gaming is not playing. So Spaza 6 and Black Clover have a pretty decent chance of, if they get something on the board, maybe moving themselves out of that relegation. So it really is, it's a case of, do these guys get the points that they need to make it on up? And the question that Dr. Sid asked is, are we going to see some crazy stuff like we saw yesterday? And I mean, that's always a possibility. It is entirely possible that we see teams like Gun just really being a nuisance to teams like Black Clover and Spaza, because Gun is safe. Gun can do whatever they want right now. Like, it really doesn't matter. They are sitting at the very, very top of the leaderboard. It is physically impossible for them to be relegated at this point. They can do literally whatever they want, including dropping into any spot and then sleeping for the rest of the game.
Yeah, literally. Or they can go and they can potentially take out some of their competition, as you mentioned, just be a nuisance to the rest of the team. So it's a nice thing to do. We'll see what Gun is going to end up taking the decision. But right now, looking at our attention there, we've got Drogons, of course, putting quite a little bit of pressure there towards Ultra 6. And Ultra 6, one of the teams that have come up from Inkosi. They really want to make a statement here. And today is the last chance for them to do that. Melon's going to be going down. Link's going to be doing well to get the trade. Oh, but Drogons, it's a bit of a 1 for a 1 for a 1. So far, either can go to the Ultra 6. Drogons down to 2 members, trying to find the remaining 2 there of Ultra 6. And Link's doing well to somehow, some way still stay alive, keep their hopes and dreams alive. Now it's only Dan left. Might be going for the res here, try and get some reinforcements, as Lynx is just sitting and waiting. Hopefully going to be getting some meds out of there, but waiting for that little bit of an indication that someone is on their way. Only 3 members remaining here for Ultra 6. So if you can get the res going through here, they have to get set up real quick. Miyagi is already up and about. He's got his meds in, and he's just waiting for the Drogons to peek around the corner. Oh, here comes Dan. Oh, Miyagi's still alive, though.
Man, this is a clash. Look at this. This is absolute chaos right here. Zuka jumping out and getting taken down, immediately flushed out. Finally, Ultra 6 find the win they were looking for. What a battle. That took 2 rounds. I mean, the initial assault and defense, and then it just absolutely broke down. Everyone is crawling around on the floor. Take a couple of seconds to get the reses in, and then just go at it again.
Yeah, I mean, they didn't even have a full opportunity there to fully mess up. But I mean, Ultra Six are going to be very happy with that. As I mentioned, they're one of the teams that definitely need the points, to give them a little bit of safety, to get them out of that relegation spots, and just to make sure that they go through into the semis. So, very good work for them. Happy to see it. Of course, anyone coming through from Nkosi, I've got some respect, man. I'm looking out for you guys, and now I want to see this happen. So. Turning our attention here towards lag, taking a little bit of rotation through. I mean, other than Drogons, of course, and Ultra Six, we haven't really had much contention elsewise. It's been pretty quiet. Everyone's been going through their loot phase, making sure that they're set up, and yeah, it's quite interesting. So we'll see in a little bit if that's gonna change. If maybe some of the teams are going to be holding out and just containing everyone trying to get into the zone and being a real nuisance. But for now, everything's sailing quite smoothly. I'm happy to see it.
Yeah. Yeah, everything is just carrying on as it does. We did have that early engagement there, and now we're just heading into the general gameplay coming through here. Most of that I think is going to be rotations and getting secure, because that flight path plus that zone was a little bit of a bait and switch coming out from the from the game here. Taking them down all the way towards the south and then throwing up a zone up into the northwest. So yeah, some rotation is going to have to go through, but there's plenty of free real estate for these teams to move into. So they should be able to get in there and feel nice and comfy. The question is, who's going to be the first to get themselves into a favorable position? At the moment, we're not seeing anyone else decide to go too far for, extra aggression. They don't have to go any further than, is sort of necessary. But of course, once the rotations come through, it sort of becomes, unavoidable that we see a little bit of that gatekeeping coming through. And when we do see that happen, hopefully we'll see a little bit of engagement.
Yeah, we've been actually seeing some fantastic strats in the Nkosi Super Cup. So some of the teams like Yonkers, for example, the amount of times they've gotten placements by sitting in the zone, in an upside down car with medication, and they're just medding through that zone, just holding and waiting for a prayer to get those placement points. That's, I mean, the strats that have been coming through from the likes of a few of those teams. Yonkers, of course, now currently leading the pack. It's so good to see, because this is the talent that potentially will be coming through to Umzansi. Potentially that's what we might see in the next Umzansi. And to throw wrenches like that in the works is really important. I think, to keep your opponents guessing constantly, to keep them wondering, okay, is that upside down car fine, or is there potentially a player just sitting and waiting for me? So I'm loving these unconventional strats, and I'm loving that, a lot of the teams as well. I mean, we mentioned in the beginning, of course, a team like BBC, the teams that love those long rotations all the way around the map, in the zone, potentially in the waters. Those unconventional strats really do pull through sometimes, and it's interesting to see how these teams change. I remember the first map we casted in the season, it was quiet, Patchy. It was deathly quiet for the first like 3 zones. Like, no one peeked anyone, and if they saw each other, they would run. Now, we're having these teams actually taking the fights, and with today being the last opportunity for some of these teams to get themselves out of relegation, I want to see those strats. I want to see those unconventional wrenches being thrown in the works and leaving us absolutely speechless.
Yeah, I mean, if there was ever a time for the teams that are sitting in towards that relegation for them to step up, I mean, this is it right here. This is the time. This is where they can make it happen, especially now that, potentially some of the teams towards the top not going to be taking it as seriously, maybe. That's not a definite. We certainly have seen some teams put in some serious work, even though it is, getting in towards the end of the run for this first round, the group stages here. So, yeah, we'll see. I mean, a team like Gun, for instance, sitting right at the top of that leaderboard, this is very much in their hands to do whatever they want with. This is their game to play with. They can either take it super serious and just crush as per usual, or maybe take a back seat, let another team try and step it up and give them a little bit of wiggle room to work with. So we'll have a look and see. This, of course, being Spaza, who is the other team alongside Black Clover, who are inside the relegation at the moment. They've got a lot of work to do if they want to make it out there. The first bit of work that they have to do, of course, is that placement. And then the second is the kills. And they're going to need both to get themselves out of their predicament. Because, one or the other is just not going to be enough at this point. Usually teams will get out here getting maybe a couple of placements, maybe a couple of kills. Like, they need everything that they can get their hands on. They need a couple of wipes at least. They need some good placements. You know, at least a solid placement or a lot of kills or a medium amount of both is a pretty good mix to try and get a little bit of points. So yeah, that's what they're going to be hoping for. Of course, now on your screen here we have Natural Killers and Aphelion and Apex. Natural Killers have been a bit of an up and down, but they have found a little bit of momentum here and there when they get given the chance. So it's always interesting to see whether they perform on the day or not, and hopefully that question gets put to the test a little bit. Aphelion Apex up in the distance, potentially coming to see what is cooking up here in the Natural Killer camp. We'll see if any engagements do ensue at this time, although they are still a little ways away, so nothing pressing just yet, but we can always hope. We can always hope.
We can, and we do want to see this contention happening. And yeah, I mean, as you mentioned, a few of those teams, they can't just go for one or the other. I mean, what comes to mind is Slime 4KT. I think they have just as many kills as Gun currently, but they've got about a 40-point gap difference because purely just their placements aren't as good as what Guns is at the moment. And I mean, if you've got competition like that, now for the semis, of course, you just have to make it into top 24. But later on, you have to be besting everyone if you want to get to that top spot, if you want to get the major share of the prize pool. So teams have to put in the work. Firstly, looking at it now, we've got Cartel and Fear Gaming actually quite close to each other. Surely there's a little bit of action running around. Tiger is going to be the first to find, you know, a nice little bit of a knock, a beautiful little shot coming through there. So that's going to put a little bit of pressure towards Fear's side, towards the camp, as they take a few rotations around. It doesn't look like they want to full commit to try and take the team wipe, rather, you know, focus on rotations. Zone is not currently with them, so they definitely, I think this is a good call. Maybe just prioritize getting into a better position. Make sure you've got the vehicles ready for when you need to rotate. Whether or not they're still going to content this and try and take Fear out, I'm curious. We've got a few sticking around, you know, just spotting things out. Potential here.
Yeah, positioning is super important. You know, it's like 1/3 of the entire battle that you could potentially have then. Oh, look at that. We've got Spaza in the kill feed, getting a couple of shots there. Aphelion Apex finally engaging with the Natural Killers. So that battle is finally taken off just a little bit at least. They've met one another, started to put those shots in, which is good to see. We'll see if anything else comes of that. For the time being, though, of course, those rotations are just coming to give Aphelion Apex. Definitely putting those shots in. Stella going to go down, and Zero looking for a little bit more. Health is pretty low, but the aim is true. Looking for the thirst. Nova not able to counter just yet. And the rest of Aphelion Apex pretty much have them pinned. Nova coming up, though. He does finally get that return fire. Super low on HP. Instant clapback, though. Natural Killers have to be on the retreat. Stella is down, and Nova very, very low on HP as that retreat almost cost them their lives. Now Aphelion Apex on the hunt. They smell blood through the water here. Can they make the rest of the kills happen? The res coming through from Nova's Shroud is pretty much going to be taken down at this point. No chance for the res for him unless Natural Killers can pull absolutely, you know, some sort of miracle out the hat at this point. Aphelion Apex, they are bunched up except for Kage, who is looking for the kill. Nova coming out to meet him. We'll see if Cold and the rest of the gang can make it happen. Here comes Nova putting the shots in, but he cannot land them, and that should be the end of that. There's very little chance for the Natural Killers to come back from this one. That grenade is about to seal the deal, and it does indeed. Goodbye, good riddance.
Oh, Natural Killers. I mean, you know, good little bit of a clapback there, but ultimately it's not going to be enough of a return. Gun taking the rotation right through gunfire. Sticks trying to get, you know, a little bit of something. Everyone's rotating through their side right now. Pain, one of the teams that I was really looking out for, they might be in a bit of a situation here. El Chapo, he's alone. He's alone, and I'm pretty sure Six would have heard that vehicle running through. So they have a potential lead on a team wipe for them in their minds. That's the information that they have at the moment. But El Chapo, he's alone. He's the only member here of Pain sitting and hiding in the house, hoping that no one is going to find an angle on him for the moment. And quite a few teams actually in this very small area. So, I mean, Zone is going to force them to, you know, really find each other a little bit sooner. Al Chapo is actually one of the only, you know, members in the zone that is sitting pretty and happy to just wait it out. But for the rest, I mean, they have to move up. I don't know where the rest of Pan Africa is. Why are you alone, El Chapo? What happened? What happened? Who hurt? Why? Oh, okay, a little bit of damage. That's nice. Yeah, you're gonna be just throttling it out. He's not dealing with that right now.
Yeah, there's a lot that's going to have to be dealt with here on the border of the zone right now because there's a couple of teams in very close proximity. We've got Ultra 6 right
Ooh.
here. We have the one player from Pain there, of course, El Chapo, separated there. Some serious shots coming on the other side, though. That's Gun taking some damage. Obviously, not really too much of a big deal, as I mentioned earlier. You know, Gun do not have to take this seriously, but still, not all the time that we get to have a look and see Gun getting pelted into oblivion. So at the moment, they are huddled up in towards that little hut, trying to keep themselves alive. Up come the rest of Pain. The cavalry has arrived to assist El Chapo in his very difficult predicament. Miyagi, looking for a bit of a shot, is going to take some damage through that window. Have to be very, very careful about your peaks here. So many angles to watch out for. And a couple of teams actually still have to get across that line. So maybe a little bit to worry about. We are 4 zones deep at the moment, so that blue zone is going to do a little bit of damage here. Some shots coming through, going to be dealing into Nibble. Unfortunately, them not going to be able to find the points that they're looking for. But the rest of the teams gonna have to fight it out here as soon as the rotation comes in from the rest of Ultra 6 and of course from Undisputed AE. There's going to be some shots. There's going to be some crossfire. It's going to be difficult to come across here. So you can just wait and have a look and see who is going to be the first to try and make the dash.
Yeah, I mean, Blank Legion, they're right behind Pain Africa. Ultra 6, they've got a bit of a crossfire here to work with against Pain Africa. So they're one of the teams that have a little bit more pressure. Of course, they have to deal with a little bit more, especially if they want to make the rotate in. But for now, they've got zones, so they can just make sure they hold their angles, potentially take a couple of shots, maybe get a knock. If they get Miyagi, then, I mean, Ultra 6 chances go way down, especially because they have to rotate in. UAE actually trying to get into the zone quicker. Right next to Miyagi, there's Gun. Take this opportunity to just get right out of this. They're going to be happy to just leave. Okay, because they were not happy in that situation, taking quite a little bit of damage. And at the moment, I mean, Spaza also taking a little bit of a knock. So we'll see later with them if they're gonna win out of this, if they're gonna get themselves out of that situation with lag, or if that might be it for them. Which, I mean, first game going to try and get yourself out of relegation, that's not going to be a happy opportunity. And lag, man, stop. Leave Spaza alone. I think Spaza might be in a little bit of a situation, but we'll tune. Ooh, yeah, no, that's them. Never mind. I won't finish my sentence. Spaza Gaming going to be going out as our 13th team, and in the meantime, Nibble also taking a little bit of damage there to the zone. Good little bit of work here for Lag. They're going to take those 4 kills and be quite happy with it. And as we look at the rest, I mean, Pain have also made their move there on UAE. Now trying to, put a little bit of pressure, hopefully give some distance to them, and hopefully get themselves out of the situation. We're down to 12 teams, and so far now is the best opportunity for all these fights to break out, because that zone is getting smaller and smaller. Everyone is up in each other's space, and everyone wants to try and make sure that they've got some safety here. And the only way to do that is to get rid of these numbers, because we still have 41 players on this map in that tiny little area. Oh, Pain! Here he is, taking out Ultra 6. Ultra 6 now in a little bit of situation here. As I said it, I mean, they had the angles here to work with, but Pain Africa have turned it around. Blank Legion still in this. Blank Legion still potentially a third party, but UAE have spotted them out. So as Pain just takes a little bit of cognizance about what's happening around them, they are doing pretty well to give Miyagi a lot of pressure right now. He looks like he might be the only member here from Ultra 6 left.
Yeah, it's tough times all around. Miyagi feeling the pressure at the moment as he sits in this house, surrounded by enemies on every single angle. Shots coming through. Black Clover trying to put some damage in that kill feed as well. Up comes Undisputed AE, looking for the angle on towards Miyagi. They're just taking a peek and seeing if they can see anything. Of course, some shots flying absolutely everywhere. Blank Legion up in the distance are going to be running away. UAE, of course, putting those shots in as the rotations come through. Going to be punishing all of those teams as they try and move in, and that might just going to be the end of that one, though. Lag also continuing to put those shots in. Lag doing a really good job of putting themselves in up that leaderboard and staying away from that relegation zone. Of course, now Miyagi, Kingerman going to be trying to move up here. UAE making their rotation off Potato in a very odd spot. Going to decide to join up with the rest of the crew. Of course, has to support as the shots come through. Nibble putting some shots across, which is actually really good for them. Hopefully they can find something. A little bit of insanity here as the rotations come through. 30 players left of life. Absolute chaos breaking out of the ranks. Black Clover's putting some shots over in towards Toxic, and a lot of damage being done here by Hamidi. Very, very close for a lot of those teams. In fact, there goes the Thirst as well. The aim is true here. So it is a very tough time as these teams are making their rotation, and those numbers are just dropping left and right all over the show. And you can see these compounds are being absolutely occupied at the moment as there's very little cover outside of it. There's just a couple of fields and some trees all over the place here and there. So, you know, Black Clover in a really good spot in terms of keeping control of this compound. A lot of crossfire coming through as well. Those third-party shots, absolutely nuts. Vindog keeping himself and the dream for Nibble alive at this stage. He's going to need a miracle to try and get Nibble out of that relegation. But of course, you know, it's not over until the last game is played. So we'll have a look and see how that one moves out. But there goes some shots in towards the company Cartel. Tigris under too much fire, cannot take all of that pressure, and does indeed get taken out. Miyagi as well going to meet that fate as Lager gets hammered by Black Clover. It was just absolutely nuts to see. You can see Plaza still on the board for Gun, and Aphelion Apex getting taken out there along with Black Clover as the shots are just flying backwards and forwards all over the place. And now, once the zone is restricted once again, we're going to see a whole lot more bloodbath.
Yeah, about a minute and a half ago, I said we had 41 players on the map. That's the beauty of PUBG right there. We're down to 23. We're down to 8 teams. Cartel still have to make their way into some safety, but Aphelion Apex is standing in the way of them at the moment. And Fear are looking to take Toxic out as some damage is being dealt. There's still quite a few teams here in such a small area. Gun, you know, they've got pretty much all the real estate right now. They're right in the center of the zone, happy just waiting for anyone to come through and give them a little bit of action if they can try and take something out, but only Plaza left to do so. So a solo for Gun might just be looking to play the placement game for the moment. And if you look at it now, I mean, I saw Nibble go out, unfortunately, so that was around ninth place. So not a lot of placement points, especially not what they're looking for to try and get themselves out of any sort of, you know, position to move themselves up on that leaderboard. So for the moment, they're going to have to look to the next map. And Lag, I mean, they've been really good. They've already taken out, I think, 1.5 teams, basically, 6 kills to their name, and they are still looking for more. Fear Me is unfortunately not going to be quite happy with that one, as Fear is actually getting third party. They've got Black Clover, they've got Lag. Everyone is looking to take a piece of them at the moment, and they are literally just caught between UAE and Fear. It is Lag, and they are somehow, some way making the plays, getting the kills. I'm not sure if they're aware that Matrix is just behind that rock, just waiting for them to say hello, how you doing? But yeah, for Fear right now, Black Clover and Lag are both pelting them left, right, and center to try and get them out as soon as possible. For now, though, let's see how long they last. It looks like it's only Swags there towards the left side that is alive, trying to keep them in this. Aphelion Apex, I mean, Lala from Cartel and Inspector, they're just prone, just waiting, just hoping no one's going to see them at the moment as they take a couple of shots. As I say that, those zeros going to be finding Lala. That means Company Cartels are out for the count. Aphelion Apex, they have made their backsides a little bit safer, but they still have to deal with UAE. And Lag has now turned their attention towards UAE. So Lag is active tonight. They are looking for everyone and anyone at this point.
I mean, the same could be said about Black Clover, who've been doing some serious damage themselves. And for Black Clover, it's such a huge importance as well, because they're trying to get out of relegation, but they're doing the work. You know, I said earlier that it would require so much work to get out of that relegation, but Black Clover, look at these shots, look at these kills. They are coming in. They are getting them. Black Clover just looking to try and save themselves from the relegation, and they are stepping it up in a big way to try and make that happen here in game number 1. We have 7 teams remaining, 17 players left. Lag on the one side of the road. We've got Undisputed AE on the other side of the road. Inspector, who's just put some decent shots in towards Aphelion Apex. Rusty getting taken out, flushing out some of the competition. Lag, of course, now on the one side, crawling through in towards that zone. Black Clover need to make their rotation as well. So a lot of teams, of course, Toxic still alive. Reki keeping that hopes and dreams of that particular team alive. Plaza still alive for the team there from Gun. So those are the teams that we've got on our screen at the moment. And, well, it's a little bit of crawling just to get into that zone, because they know the first team to stand up and make themselves known is just going to get taken out, just going to get mowed down, because every single team have their crosshairs trained in towards one another. But it's Black Clover still doing the damage, taking out all of the stragglers. So Gun getting right off the board. Here comes Zero, though. Lag, 4 shots in towards Undisputed AE there. Aphelion Apex doing the same. Lots and lots of tough decisions to be made here. Do we take the rotate? Do we stay? do we go? That is the question. The shots coming through from all angles in towards Aphelion Apex, as well as Undisputed AE. Lag, very, very active, as you mentioned, looking for those kills, looking for anything that they can make happen on the board here. Everyone is in the dirt, face in the ground, crawling around to try and get themselves inside this zone, as there is literally no cover remaining. It is a case of who finds who first and who can pull that trigger fast enough.
Yeah, who's going to crawl into who at this point? So we've got 5 teams left. I mean, yeah, Lag. I mean, they're literally in the middle of pretty much everyone. They can take an angle at whoever they please at the moment. Black Clover, they were one of the teams that was sitting, quite pretty in terms of players. They had 4, now they're only down to 3. Aphelion Apex might be down to nothing, as UAE have found them out and are looking to finally put the last nail in the coffin there to potentially take one of their opponents out, to take us down to 4 teams remaining. Kage is going to be the first to find Potato, and it looks like, just try and work it out here, but for the moment, as you mentioned, no cover whatsoever, and Aphelion Apex are going to be the first to fall victim to that. At the moment, everyone falls in towards the center. Lag rotating left, right, and center, and they have found themselves in the top 2. It's Black Clover, it's Lag. It's only one team that can take that winner chicken dinner, and who will it be at this point? One goes down, they pull Lag. Hit the 2 versus 3. Black Clover, they've got a little bit of information as to where the 2 are, but where is Zero? He's just crawling. He's being so sneaky right now, trying to find a beautiful angle here towards Black Clover, potentially take them out, as they take a little bit of time to just met up and look at the angles there. One not going through, second not going through. It's only one member remaining for Lag. It's a 3-on-1 at the moment. That res has to come through as soon as possible, but it's such a risk. The meds coming through. It's a 2-on-3. Where are they going to be going with this? Oh, my goodness. Are they actually going to do it? No!
What a beautifully managed finish. Lag coming in there, so well played. They just absolutely, I mean, look at that. They spotted out the last 2 players of Black Clover. One of them peeks out, takes the first. The second peeks out immediately after that in response to get the second. And then they duck right back behind the box. Last Black Clover player peeks their head out, and instant response just pops out again and takes them down. Very clean from Lag to take that chicken dinner with a considerable number of kills back in the mob. Of course, Black Clover, who was on the hunt in a big way in that game, also coming off second place with a lot of kills to their name. So that was an impressive performance there right at the end.
Yeah, that was insane. They got knocked down to 1 player at some point, got the res through, got the meds in, and then were just ready to take the fight back. And I mean, they were one of the most active teams that we had on the map in the middle of literally nowhere. There was nothing that they can work with for cover. There was a hill and 2 trees, I think, at the most. And they made it work.
I don't believe what I just saw. I really don't believe what I just saw. That was awesome. I literally can't believe it. Like, I was watching that thinking, oh yeah, Lag is done. They're done. It's 3-on-2. They just managed to get the res. There's nothing they can do. And they literally popped up and took that win. Look at the standings after game 1. This just shows you that today some people are ready to come out of the relegation zone. I see Lag Esports, I see Black Clover, I see Fear and Ultra 6 and Pain Africa in the top half of this groups today, and this just shows me that this table is far from over for the qualification spots.
Yeah,
Patchy,
I agree.
Wow, yo, I can't, yo, you guys take it. I can't. I'm in shock.
Well, I mean, this is really, really big. I mean, second page of the leaderboard, this is not really the biggest thing that happened in this game. The biggest thing that happened in this game is the fact that we had players like Fear and the I believe it was Ultra 6.
Black Clover.
It was Ultra 6 that got some decent points there. But the dichotomy that I'm trying to talk about here is the fact that Black Clover, they got a really serious number of points there, which means they're going to be, gaining some of the points above the teams above them, which is Spaza 6, right? The team right above them. So Black Clover before this, I think, had about 74. Spaza 6 had 84. So that's 100% guarantee that they're going to take it over. MVP, of course, going to Lag. Fantaziu taking the 5 kills there for Lag. And again, that's MVP. Definitely deserved. I mean, that was just an insane performance coming out from Lag at the end there. But yeah, just going back to what we were looking at, if the goal is to get out of the relegation zone, then this is huge. Black Clover, they've done a huge deal here. I think they've moved themselves up very much well above the competition that was just ahead of them. If they continue a performance like that, I think they could I think they could save themselves. I don't think they're going to get relegated.
I'm super excited to see what happens, but there is more PUBG Mobile to come after this break of the Umzansi Esports League Season 3, brought to you by Northern Gaming. This is Patchy, Esproxy, and myself, Dr. Sin, and we will see you right after this break. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Umzansi Esports League Season 3, brought to you by Nodwin Gaming. My name is Dr. Sid, here with Esproxy and Patchy, as we are bringing you all the action from PUBG Mobile. We've just had an electrifying, mind-boggling, gobsmacking Game 1 on Erangel. Let's take a look at what the standings look like after the first game of the day.
Yeah, let's hop straight on into that. Of course, Lag Esports coming out with that absolutely, as Dr. Sid described, gobsmacking victory coming out there. Lag just absolutely smacking it out of the ballpark. 27 points out of that one. Black Clover, of course, being the one to pick up the second place there. So, yeah, some serious stuff coming through there. And, of course, Black Clover doing a huge deal to move themselves out of the relegation zone. And I mentioned just before we went into the break that if they continued to put up a performance like that, then, I mean, Black Clover is going to be finding themselves outside of that relegation zone. But then, of course, that begs the question, who is going to find themselves stuck in the position that Black Clover has just left? And at the moment, it seems like the onus is on Spaza 6 to try and get themselves out there, along with, I believe it's Not Gaming at the moment, sitting in that spot. So I don't even know if Not Gaming actually even have another chance to bring themselves out. I'm just going to quickly check the schedule and have a look. I think they might have, yeah, they have tomorrow. Tomorrow is their last chance to try and get out of there.
Yeah, but today is showing, teams are showing up. I mean, Black Clover showing up, doing what they do best to move up that leaderboard. I saw Fear up there as well. Like, at the end of today, what I'm most excited to see is what the overall leaderboard looks like, with all these changes happening and people moving out of relegation and pushing other people in. Obviously, we know where Citizens Gaming is right now, but we're not going to talk about that because that's a little, that's a sore spot. But talking about teams, I want to just mention about Nibble Esports. Like, Esproxy, you've been following these guys and you see they've come up. And how would you rate their performance today?
It's funny. We were talking about Vindog. I think that was I remember remaining for Nibble Esports, and there's been so many times where there's been one member of Nibble Esports somewhere lurking in the bushes, somewhere hiding, getting the placement points, and they've been doing well with that. They've really been doing well at what we call in Apex, the rat game. They've been doing fantastically, but it's not enough at this point. Like, I need them as a full team to take on the fights. Like, it's weird to me to not see them in the kill lead. It's weird to not see them in the kill feed in the first place. Like, they're so quiet. The only time you see them is because they're getting knocked, and that's not the Nibble that I know. So I want to see more of them, and I don't get to, and I'm upset.
Speaking of the kill feed, Patchy, we're very used to seeing the guys from Gun popping up in the kill field, dropping bodies left, right, and center. In that game, if I'm not mistaken, they had 0 kills.
Yeah, I think
and 2 placements.
I think that was
how
really,
shocking
really
was that?
I mean, on one hand, it's not every day that you get to see that. On the other hand, it's maybe not that surprising considering Gun are sitting so far up the leaderboard. As I said in the beginning of the game, they could literally put themselves in the plane and go to sleep for the rest of the next 30 minutes. And
so Sanok, here we are. Sanok, here we are.
Yeah, this is Sana. We're flying out, and I'm gonna fly out in a second just to leave you and Patchy to run this. So I'll see you guys after the game.
Thanks so much. Yeah, Dr. said, here we are, Sanok. So, I mean, for a few of the teams, they really have to make the work here. They really only have today, as we mentioned, it's Group C, it's Group A. They have 2 more maps to try and get some placement points. They've got 2 more opportunities to really get back into this. So for some of these teams, if you're sitting in that bottom, 24 to X, you really have to put in the work. For the likes of Gun, as we were mentioning, they're sitting so pretty at the top there with 230 odd points. They don't really need to be worrying about it. I would actually go far and say the top 16 don't really need to worry that much, unless we've got a team that's going to get, like 50 odd kills and all 3 of the winner chicken dinners. I don't think there's a possibility for a team like that to really reach that point. But for the rest that are looking at relegation, that are looking to get out of relegation, that are in, danger of dropping a spot into relegation, especially after today, they really need to make it work. We've got Toxic and UAE and Black Legion all in the kill feed already in the first couple of seconds of the Sandhawk game. We know it, we love it. Sandhawk, it's a small map, and that means there's a lot of close quarters combat, and I'm loving what I'm seeing from UAE here. They were quite quiet towards the end. They made it into the top 5, and then unfortunately got taken out, I think top 3, potentially top 4. So for them now, they are looking to get as many points as they want. And this is the kind of, attitude that I want from everyone. At this point, don't be complacent. I understand if you can. I mean, Gun, they can very much be complacent, as we said, Patchy. But for some of these other teams, and for especially the teams towards the lower end, really start pushing it. Really just try and break open the envelope and take as many points as you possibly can.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. And just what I was going to say before the internet connection rudely interrupted me is that teams like Gun have the onus to be able to see whether they want to put their all in and stop the teams from moving up, or they want to give them a little bit of leeway. And right now, they've got a lot of leeway to work with, a lot of room to make something happen. Of course, it's Toxic now here on your screen going up against Aphelion Apex, who are trying to make something happen. Zero exposing himself just a little bit, but Vegeta not quick enough to be able to pull that one out. Going to be tossing a molly up instead to try and stop them from pushing forward in that particular spot again. A little bit of damage coming through though. Kage going to go down as Unknown. Catches them a little bit by surprise. Shots coming through, and Zero absolutely putting the damage in. It does go down. Cold moving up. Ducking behind the car just in the nick of time though, but the shots will come through. Cold does go down. Zero coming to the rescue, but only after his teammate gets thirst. So that's a bit of a problem, but the thirst will at least come through. What an absolute crazy just a set of knocks and back and forth kills we had there. But now Zero finds himself right on his lonesome with Reki and on the other side. He's going to come up in the house. Oh, he has to react quick enough. He finds the one, but not the other. And that is going to be the end of him. Aphelion Apex getting taken down. And Toxic, they do get some kills there at least.
Yeah, so we don't often get to see Toxic. I mean, they've been one of the teams that have been quite close to the bottom for quite a while. And then, they have moments like these where they just come out of the woodworks. They take down a team or two, and that's really good for them. So some team kills in the pocket. They're going to be finding themselves closer and closer to, a little bit of a safety. Of course, we know those teams from 13 to 16, unfortunately, don't get any placement points. So Feed and Apex not going to be happy with that, but it's okay. You still got one more map moving on to it. And Toxic, of course, they should be elated. Now they just need to carry through as that duo squad, and hopefully they can do a little bit more. The Comfy Cartel, they're one of the teams that I've been looking out for. The amount of times I have seen them literally on the minimap in the middle of like five teams who go all in up in their building, try and take them out, try and really make their lives so difficult. And they've done well, like considering the amount of situations they've been in that are just absolutely just unfathomable. They have sometimes really just gotten the kills, maybe fallen short towards the last one or two, but really put up such a beautiful fight. So I'm also looking out for teams like them who, unfortunately have had some really rough luck, as is Battle Royales, but potentially, the skill's definitely there. I want to see more from them as well. And Gun, I want to know what Gun are doing. Like, I want to know what their thought process is tonight, because as we mentioned, you're sitting on, what's it, 238 points at the moment, with your closest being around 200. You're of course very comfortable at this point. So what do you feel like doing? Do you want to just get in a car and drive around and be a nuisance to everyone? Let's just make some noise.
Yeah, if that's what you want to do, like at this point, it's just a case of go for it, make it happen. It doesn't really matter. Gun, they're in the unique position of being able to say, hey guys, do we want to, have a nice clan meeting here? Do we want to eat some ice cream while we play? Do we want to, share a drink, maybe watch some memes while we're out here playing? Or they could say, yeah, let's try a new strategy. Let's see what happens if we just run straight down the middle of the map or something like that. They can do whatever they like. They really can. It's not too much of a big deal. They, as I've said before, they can even say who's at the bottom of the leaderboard at the moment. Oh, it's Black Clover. Let's go and kill them, and then they can go and destroy all their hopes and dreams. Gun can do whatever they like. So far, they haven't really made all that much use of it in the previous game. We didn't see them doing all that much, but here they are again, a little bit separated, a little bit spread out, 2 for 2 on the one side and on the other side. So they're just chilling, sitting here. Ultra Six up ahead in the compound, not really doing all that much. And well, we know how this map works as proxy. It's the calm before the storm, and we know the storm comes really, really quickly. And it really is all about, you know, how you utilize the moments that you have to yourself to your utmost benefit. So we'll see if anybody does decide to go for some more kills. At the moment, you can see quite a decent concentration of teams right in the center of the map, in the center of the zone there. The rest just kind of skirting along the outskirts. The blue zone hasn't come in yet, so there's a little bit of time, a little bit of breathing space, but as we know, that disappears very, very quickly.
PUBG, right? At the end of the day, it's PUBG, so anything can happen. And oh, I'm liking what I'm seeing from the zone here. Only 2 teams outside of it, actually, and that's UAE and Toxic, of course. We saw they were quite busy, you know, taking a couple of kills, you know, wiping teams. So looking at it now, they still have to rotate in, but they've had pretty much all of, you know, Camp Charlie and the likes to just loot up, get their phase done, and get set for the rest of the Sandhawk game. Black Clover and Drogons also very close to each other. You might see a little bit of contention there. Cartel looks like they've spotted out Ultra Six here, and they might get ready for it. But for the moment, Ultra Six, they're happy just sitting in boot camp. They're just holding on and making sure that they're not peeking unnecessarily. And Gun just towards the outside, who might be happy to take a third party here. And I would like to see it. I would like to see everyone, you know, just go for as many kills as you can. Like you said, maybe try a new strategy, maybe try a couple of new things, work it out, and get ready for the semifinals. And I mean, ultimately, points are points, right? It just helps you in the later games. So do as much as you can while you still can, while you still got that little bit of a buffer to work with, and the pressure is not there. I mean, that's when you do some of your best. For some people, that's when they do some of their best gameplay. So I want to see it. I want to see it. But for the moment, Cartel, they're just going to take some cognizance. You know, take a little bit of stock of what's around them. Pain also just behind. So this could turn into an interesting fight later on if everyone decides to, you know, put the pedal to the metal and take the throttle forward. For the moment, though, we still got 14 teams left. The zone is busy closing through, and looking at it, I mean, there's not much for anyone to really do. For some of the teams, they just want to hold on to their position, and for the other teams, they have to go on the hunt.
Yeah, it's a really tough spot for a lot of teams that want to make things happen, because when you have teams like, for instance, Gun, who are no longer being ultra active, you know, like super duper out there to get stuff happen, you know, get the kills, get the positions, really, really trying to be at the top, it takes away a lot of the opportunity that some of the, you know, teams lower down on the scoreboard, you know, have usually gotten in the past. You know, they're not so used to being able to do that themselves, usually relying on the other teams that do it. That are very active and very, you know, their presence is known on the map. So now they're sitting here and it's like, well, no one's doing anything. What do we do? How do we make something happen? You know, and it's very much a big question mark on how to approach a situation where we have aimbots sitting in a bush just chilling, you know, like they don't have to do anything. They just, you know, they're like, let's sit in a bush, and they can do that. There's nothing wrong with that. They may not get any points, but you know, if one guy wants to sit down in a house and put some shots in, like Pounds is doing, go for it. If you want to sit in a bush, go for it. If you want to chill behind a rock, go for it. It's like whatever. And with such a big, heavy hitting team doing that instead of what they normally do, you know, there's a lot of open space that somebody has to step into, that somebody has to take a decision and go, okay, we've got to do something. You know, let's go and find these guys. Let's go and take them out. Let's go and make something happen on the map. Right now, since we're not seeing all that much of that, you know, the question then becomes, well, are we going to see the chaos as we usually do towards the end of the map? Because, you know, yesterday we were seeing some serious aggression in the early game, and that was really changing the landscape of the entire map. Now we're sitting here with nothing happening in the beginning of the game, and in a map like Sandhawk, that is just, I mean, that's a nail or two in your coffin right there, because that means towards the mid to end game, it is going to be nuts. You are going to be surrounded by teams on every single side, and the bullets will be flying, and your HP is just going to disappear, and you're not going to know where from. It's going to be a tough time, and you might not be able to get where you want to go. You might just be finding yourself at the bottom of that, you know, that leaderboard. So it really, it becomes a time where the teams have to make a decision to make something happen, especially for a team like Black Clover, who at least did some really good some really good points on the board in the previous game, and they want to put a couple of more on. I mean, you really have to distance yourself as far as possible from that relegation zone. Well, up come Gun. They're going to put some shots in. They've decided to, they've finally decided to make something happen. They've decided to do it to Pain. They've put Pain into Pain, and down they go. What a good peek from Nerf, just showing his prowess. He may have been eating ice cream earlier, but he can still hit the shots. Pain now coming in to try and make something happen, get a little bit of recompense for that damage done by Gun, but up come the rest of the cavalry to potentially protect him. Nerf, of course, on the other side of that wall is protected for the time being. Pain dare not go over. Ooh, comfy Cartel actually putting in some of those long-range shots and making a nuisance of themselves. So, you know, Tigress right up there in the tower, at least doing some good work there. Of course, Pain very low on HP, and the rest of Gun not in a position to immediately respond, so Pain are going to get away with that. But yeah, I mean, that some more of that has to start happening real quick.
Yeah, I mean, for Gun, they've only really invested 2 members there. The other 2 were sitting back, trying to get some, you know, long-range damage in, support from that side. But Pain were good to react to that and keep their wits about them, keep all their members still alive and in this. And as we look at it now, Natural Killers might be in a little bit of a situation. Spaza Gaming has rolled up on them and looking to take them out. They definitely need the points to do so. So this is a crucial fight for Spaza. Anything that they can get here is going to be absolutely crucial. Taking a little bit of damage is Horus right now. They're going to be finding one. They're going to be finding Shroud and looking for it. Natural Killer's now down to 3, but Stella's going to be good to find a trade there towards Deity as they go down. Now how do they recover from those 3 members left? Spaza Gaming, they still have 4. That rest should be coming through and they should be resetting shortly. But for the moment, they just have to wait and see what is the plan here from Natural Killers. Are they going to aggress this? Are they just holding on? Little do they know, it's only Stella that's really close. The rest are still behind, still rotating in. So though they're not actually, you know, going for this push, they might be looking at a bit of a mistake here. Obviously, they don't have the information we do, but for the moment, they're a little bit spread out. Nova, though, taking quite a lot of damage. My goodness gracious, down to almost nothing. Prone just behind the tree, waiting to try and stay alive. Scylla is going to be finding Horus, and Horus is going to say, no, thank you very much. You can get knocked, and I'm going to potentially just take your team with you. Only 2 actually alive here for Natural Killers as Scylla goes out. And of course, we know right behind the rock here is Nova, who's just been able to med up. Only 2 on 4. Spaza Gaming looking really good, and they need this. I can't stress enough how much they need this.
Oh yeah, 100%. Spaza is the other team that is sitting down in that relegation at the moment. They are in position 26, which does mean that they are very much in a position that they do not want to be in. They need the kills. They need the placements. They absolutely, as you say, desperately need these things, and they need them very quickly because they have today, they have tomorrow, they have this game and they have the next game. I don't think they have tomorrow. But I mean, that is it, you know, and I mean, that's not a lot of time to get anything done, really. I mean, 1 game, 2 games, that's if you really perform super good, I mean, maybe you can get 20 points, you know, if you pull out a crazy 130, but I mean, that's a huge ask, and there's so much to do, and we've seen that all the other teams, you know, are so good at taking those points away. I'm not sure if Spaza can do it.
Yeah, it's, you know, at some point you have to wonder, you know, are you too far gone? Is there still, you know, hope for a little bit of recovery, or is there just nothing else? Cyrus, though, he's looking for some revenge there, and Romeo's unfortunately going to be the one to feel the brunt of it, as it looks the knock comes through, Berserker's down, and Natural Killers, they're looking to get some revenge here. They're not letting go of this fight. Romeo, they're trying to clap back a little bit as he's healed up, but he has to be careful. He's quite isolated from the rest of his team, so if he goes down here, it might be a little bit of a situation where the rest are looking to rotate through, but where is, you know, Natural Killers? They have to take that into account. Like, okay, we know where Cyrus is, but where's Nova? Where's Nova sitting and hiding and looking potentially to take us out? So they're in a little bit of a situation. Cyrus and Nova, they've got both exits, and as you can see, Nova, they're spraying through, trying to find one or the other. Romeo, once again, being the member of Spaza to feel the brunt of it. He's the shield for his team at the moment as they try and get these rotations happening. But Natural Killers now going to have to, you know, throw in the towel for this fight, maybe just rotate through a little bit more and get a better position, because if they take too long, they're going to be finding themselves outside of the zone. But for the moment, they're literally just gatekeeping Spaza at this point. Like, they're just making sure that Spaza can't rotate in.
Yeah, and they're doing a really good job of it, and it's kind of sad here actually for Spaza, who, you know, they have the numbers, but they just can't leverage them at this point. Natural Kill is just doing too good of a job of putting the damage in and really just keeping Spaza down. Zerk, of course, getting knocked here as Nova and the rest of Natural Killers, Osiris being that one. They're just putting the damage in, and Spaza cannot seem to retaliate at all. And Natural Kids can sort of just walk away from this one, even though technically they should have been gone a long time ago. I mean, Spaza should have been able to deal with this, but instead, Natural Killers just going to get the damage in and then just walk away. Of course, with that zone now approaching, we are slowly heading in towards the mid game. And, well, with Natural Killers moving off, I don't think Spaza are going to get much more chance to actually retaliate and get something back from that engagement. So they're just going to be sitting there, and now we have to wait and see how they're going to be able to position in the zone, because now the positioning becomes super, super important, you know, because we've got 44 players, we've got 14 teams left alive. As you can see on the map, most of the teams are spread out, but we know that doesn't last very long. Once this blue zone closes in, and it's about to very, very soon, you know, we're going to get a smaller zone, and the teams are going to have to rotate. They're going to start running out of space. Positioning is going to become super, super important. They're not going to be able to distance themselves anymore. They're going to be forced to take the fights. And when there's so many teams still left on the board and so many players still alive, I mean, that's when you're just seeing crazy crossfires, crazy third parties, and you see teams just getting wiped out.
Yeah, it's definitely it's interesting to see that. Ooh, hello. 6 might actually be Spaza's savior at this point. Potentially, I mean, going to be finding 1, looking for more. Now, Natural Killers, you know, not only do they have to worry about Spaza Gaming, who they've obviously, you know, made a little bit mad with the amount of gatekeeping they've been doing, but now they also have to worry about Ultra 6, who are rolling up right behind them. Asara is the only member remaining now for Natural Killers. Top 14 teams, so if they go out here, that's no points. That's going to be absolutely no placement points going their way. So, oh, Osiris, my goodness gracious, how is this still happening? He's literally caught between a tree and a rock at this point. That's all that he has to work with in terms of cover. He's got teams literally circling him, looking to take him out first. So the fact that he's still fighting is a godsend. But for the moment, unfortunately, Natural Killers, they are going to be going out in 14th position. And now there's one more team that is in danger of going out here with 0 placement points. One more team has to go out for everyone else here to take a little bit of a sigh of relief, to be like, okay, at least we'll get 1 or 2 placements. But of course, that's not going to be good enough for anyone. Gun here rolling up. Oh, right behind Lag Fantasy. Do you know what's hiding him around the bush for you? Not the case. Bounce is going to be finding him, taking him out for the count. And now Lag, they've got a little bit of information that there's some sneaky gun members hiding around. And the positioning at this point, they just can't seem to find the angle. It's aimbot that's giving the cover here, but of course, if we're looking at it, A-Man has to now find something here. That nade's going to be going through, but not going to be connecting just yet. Hiding behind the rocks here, they have to make something work. In the meantime, Ultra 6 are also, they've made their way to find Comfy Cartel, and they are obviously looking to take as much as they can. Nibble, there we go. I'm seeing Nibble in the kill feed, taking out Fear. That's fantastic to see. And UAE actually looks to be taking a third party there, as we see some little bit of contention. Lag, though, they still have all 4 members remaining, though. They're taking a little bit of damage from the right side, it looks like. A little bit of a third party potentially, or is it just, it's just aimbot, you know, doing his thing, getting some shots in, doing well. And I'm liking this. You know, we were talking about it. Gun can literally just be a nuisance to anyone. They have nothing to lose at this point. So the fact that they're actually actively going for this and actively trying to make everyone else's lives a little bit harder, that just shows a little bit of competition. And that nade is going to tell Drogons to unfortunately go back to the lobby and wait for Miramar, as Drogons will be going out in 13th position. So no placements for them to work with. Ultra 6 also now in a position with Spaza as they're fighting it out to see who's going to come out on top. It looks like Spaza Gaming might be under a little bit of pressure.
Yeah, it certainly does look that way, and it's great to see Black Clover stepping it up once again. I wonder if they're going to be sprinting up to the end of this one, giving us a top 3 finish. We'll see. Toxic putting some shots in, Black Clover taking a little bit of damage. Hamidi and Dagger going down as well. That's a bit of a... that's one that they didn't see coming. The team's not coming in, put some damage across Spaza, looking for as many kills as they could potentially get, taking down Ultra 6 a bit by bit. You can see Romeo just crawling up the mountainside here, right across from those players. Lag very low on HP. You can see they are just barely keeping themselves alive. One nade will just wipe out the majority of their forces. Of course, Gun, as you mentioned, just doing what they do and being a nuisance for so many players, just snaking around there. and putting those shots in, putting the damage through, which definitely changes how the game ends up to be. Matrix going to be putting some shots in it towards Nibble. Unfortunately, their escapades being put to an end very swiftly as the shots come through there. So, of course, we are seeing those numbers being reduced bit by bit. We're almost in our top 10. We've got 11 teams remaining, 27 players alive here as we move in towards zone number 5, which is going to mean that that blue zone is going to be doing way too much damage to try and tempt the fates with. Now the shots coming through from Lag at the moment, as you can see, they are trying to find the last few stragglers. Gun right up ahead of them. Pounds very low on HP. They could potentially take them down. Not going to be the end of the world for Gun, but could certainly make a big difference for Lag. The shots coming through, though, they're going to lose some players. Zero goes down as Pounds just continues to be that nuisance. And, well, I mean, these Gun players, we've seen them. They have the aim. They've got the skills here. And sure, they're separate. Sure, they've been split up and doing crazy things all game long. But, I mean, they're there to just be annoying. Of course, they finally find the kill, so Lag will pick them up. But now Ultra 6 moving in for a potential a little bit of a capitalization here. They've got a good position on the top of this mountain, but they do also need to get across the line into that safe area. Lag's in the same boat, but the cover is very difficult to play around. There isn't very wide arcing cover. It's rocks, it's trees. They've got to use it to the best of their advantage. Black Clover taking a little bit of damage there from Undisputed AE as the shots are coming through along the perimeter. I am trying to put the shots in, but he is getting hit from all the sides. Very low on HP, has to hit the rocks as quickly as possible, and just as he makes it in, the zone shifts up once again. As it does, we are in our top 5 teams at the moment. The shots coming in from all over the place. Black Clover putting the hits in as they do. They've been really good at this so far. They did a good job in the previous game, and they're looking to replicate some of that success here. Lag putting some shots in as well as one, looking to keep Lag, his hopes and dreams alive here. Moving into the zone. In fact, they are the first team to get themselves into the zone. They've got some pretty decent cover, but they are being contested immediately by some teams right up ahead of them. Comfy Cartel looking to try and take over some of this space, but is that free real estate going to be enough? They're up on top of the hill, but they do need to get themselves across that line. They need to get themselves into the safe zone, and they are exposing themselves to the gunfire. One, putting some damage in towards Broly. That's going to be a bit of a problem if they try and approach here. They've really got to pick their times. Tigress sitting right behind that tree. The only cover separating Tigress from the rest of the damage being done from One and the rest of Lag. This could potentially be the end of the Cartel if they don't play this correctly. If they don't play their cards right, they might get taken out, but up they come, doing a little bit of a split take here, trying to split up as many of those crosshairs as possible. One, keeping a watchful eye out, but not able to watch all of the angles at the same time. Has to be really careful about being overrun here. Comfy Cartel just moving in inch by inch, just barely getting themselves across that line. I think most of them are safe for the time being, but they will have to contend with Lag sitting inside that house. Tigress, oh, the crosshairs trained, but the shots immediately coming through from Black Clover, who have just been hungry for kills all day long. They've gotten some serious kills done here in this game, looking to make themselves finish top 3 once again. They're very close to doing it. We've got 4 teams left. Lala looking for some shots at the top of this house here. Can't find any angles, but you can see the players are absolutely on edge at the moment. Any mistakes here could mean that you get wiped out. Pain, a very good showing here. They've still got lots of their players left, but are they going to be able to come to the party? Because, of course, they still need to get themselves in across that zone. With 25 seconds left, they've got to make that rotate. Things are going to get tough. Shots come through. Pain will find Vibe. That's a big pickup right there. Humedy, the last one left, which does mean that Pain could potentially take their spot in zone, but it's really going to come down to the wire. 12 seconds left here to make this happen. Is Pain going to get wiped out by the zone is the question. They're going to have to make an absolute frantic dash for the zone right now. It is going to be a super, super tough one. The Cartel's still sitting up on the hill. One, the last one left alive for Lag, sitting in that compound all by his lonesome. And he also needs to make that rotate. He also needs to get into the zone. So it's just really tough for all these teams right now.
Yeah, they're not sitting pretty at the moment. Everyone just crawling into the zone as it's really forcing them together. Not a place you want to be in. And unfortunately, Beast, well, for Black Clover, unfortunately, that means that Beast is going to find one. We're down to top 4. Lag with only 1 member remaining, and that 1 member is looking to do some damage, though El Chapo is going to be finding Broly, and El Chapo will be found by 1 as he goes down to the zone. We're down to the top two teams, remaining. And here we go. We've got Cartel and Black Clover, 2 that we haven't really been seeing in the situation. Unfortunately, though, Black Clover, they made it to top 2 last game, and that time they had the advantage and they lost to lag. Now, Cartel are sitting quite prettily in a house with some cover, all that they need to work with. They've got the zone, they've got the numbers, and Black Clover only have Hamady. Only Hamady left here to potentially keep the dreams alive, but a 1v4 at this point might be a little bit too much to ask. Surely Cartel have this as they take the rotate in, they find Hamady, they solidify their winner chicken dinner, and they're going to be quite happy with that. That's, this is the team that I've been saying time and time again. They have the skills to do it. They've been in such horrible situations that they've somehow, somewhere, every single time made themselves a path and sort of a way to safety, and here they are taking the winner chicken dinner. Absolutely just phenomenal work from them. Black Clover going to be taking second, and Pain, hello, I think I mentioned them once or twice, going to be taking the 3rd place, so some beautiful points going to be going towards them. Of course, placements are going to be there. Kills not looking too bad either. We've got 6 for Cartel, we've got 7 for Black Clover, and of course we have the 5 for Pain Africa, so they're going to be quite happy with that. I mean, that's really just going to be helping at this point. Get anything and everything that you can.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the action that is the Umzansi Esports League Season 3 PUBG Mobile Tournament. I say this every single time. I mean, this game is just a testament to the fact that some people have realized that they need to put up or shut up, go hard or go home. It is crunch time, and they are bringing the pain. Let's take a look at the standings of Game 5.
Oh man, yeah, there it is. The comfy Cartel with that extraordinary work on top of that hill. 15 placement points, 6 kills, giving them 21 in that first spot there. Black Clover getting that top 3 finish once again. 2nd place for them, 19 points for that one. Pain Africa coming in 3rd thanks to their placements and those kills coming through. 15 points for them. Lag coming in with 13 points in 4th. Undisputed AE, 10 points in 5th place. We've got Nibble in 6th with 8 points as well. Spaza with 8 points in 7th place. We've got Toxic coming in with 5 points there, and yeah, that is pretty much what we suspected there. Black Clover doing some serious work to make themselves up there. Comfy Cartel coming in that 1st place with some very, very decisive work on top of that hill. Moving into the 2nd page, though, of course, not really what we expected from Gun, although maybe not. Maybe that is what we expected from Gun, considering they can do whatever they want. But it's 9th position, Blank Legion with 3 points, Ultra 6 with 3 points in 10, Gun with 2 in 11, Aphelion Apex also with 2 points in 12. We've got Fear with 1 in 13, Natural Killers with 1 in 14, the Drogons coming home with nothing coming out of that one. Oh, and then the MVP, of course.
Of course, it has to go to True. I mean, Comfy Cartel, they're doing really good work, and it goes to show why one of their members would be the MVP for the 2nd map of tonight, and I'm happy to see it. I feel like, Comfy Cartel have been one of those teams that have been cheated out of potential better placements time and time again. I've just, it breaks my heart to see them constantly finding themselves in such horrible situations, but here they've gone. They've faced the adversity, and they've come out on top. So happy to see it.
Guys, the action is non-stop. Listen, with all these points coming through on the leaderboard and in all these different games, I literally cannot wait to see what the overall leaderboard looks like. We'll be back after this break with some more PUBG action. My name is Dr. Sid. I'm still here with Esport and Patchy, and we'll see you guys right after this break. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Umzansi Esports League Season 3, brought to you by Nibble Gaming Africa. It is the PUBG Mobile tournament, and the action is heavy. I'm here with Esport and Pachi, and we are bringing you all the drama. Let's quickly take a look at the standings where after Game 5.
Well, yeah, the Dr. Sid sounding like a very, very speedy, quick car coming up the racetrack there. It's Comfy Cartel right in that first place, 21 points. Of course, a very good performance on Sandhawk for them, putting them in that particular place. Black Clover doing what they do, getting that second place once again, 19 points for them in there. Pain Africa in third with 15, Lag with 13 and 4, Undisputed AE 10 and 5, and Nibble, of course, 8 in 6, along with Spaza with also 8 and 7, Toxic with 5 and 8. So, yeah, I mean, it's a particularly good performance coming out of Black Clover for them, pushing themselves out of that relegation. We'll see if the other teams that are stuck there can do the same, because it was really a grind for the likes of Black Clover to make that happen.
Yeah, action is showing that some people have realized that now is the time to show who has the skills and the fortitude to move themselves out of the relegation spot. Ladies and gentlemen, the action is about to go down. We have one more match for today, but there's still more action tomorrow. But for today, these teams have one more map, Miramar, to grab as many points as possible. This reminds me of a situation of crabs in a barrel. Like everyone needs to, these people that need to be climbing all over each other, stepping on heads, and making sure that they get out of that relegation spot. Ladies and gentlemen, the action is coming. We've seen, I mean, apart from Black Legion that has shown some level of consistency over the two maps today, you know, who else do you think is going to step up? Fear, Nibble, who do you think is going to step up that needs those points to get out of the relegation zone? As you know, let me hear your thoughts on this.
So, I mean, you know, some of the teams that we're looking at, if I'm doing the math right, I mean, we were scared of Spaza 6, but like with the performance that they've been putting up today, I think they might have just gotten over the line. They're not by any means, you know, completely safe. They're still very much in danger, but they're just, I think they're just over that point. You know, they've really done well. They've really come out of the woodworks. For the likes of, you know, our Nibbles, our Blank Legions, our Toxic Esports, those are teams that I think are very well still within, you know, danger of relegation, especially if you're at the bottom two. Like, whoo, you need to get some points. And if I remember correctly, you know, we had a pretty close bottom few teams, so I don't think it's impossible. But you need to pull out all the spots. You've got one map. You've got one map to do that in. After this, that's it. You have no more opportunities, and then we're going straight into finals. Then anyone that's not in that top 24, you're out. So if you're holding on to strats at this point, if you're like got a rabbit in a hat somewhere, you need to pull everything out right now for this last map.
Pull it out so you can pull out a winner chicken dinner, because let me tell you something, there will be nothing to pull out after Sunday. We are moving to the next round with all the teams that have shown that they deserve to be there. I can't wait to see what's happening on this map, because I've been seeing some really high kill games from some very unexpected teams, showing that maybe there was just the draw that put them in situations where they couldn't grab the wins. It has started. The plane has left the airport. They are in the air, and I'm leaving you in the very capable hands of Esport and Pachi as they take you through all the action. I will see you guys after the final match of the day.
There we go. There we go. Thank you so much, Dr. Sid. It is map number 3 for this evening's games here for the Umzansi Esports League here in Nodwin Gaming. Thank you guys for tuning in and sticking with us all the way to this last game. Let's have a look and see how this one pans out. As of course, Miramar, where we do always see some crazy things happening. We've seen everything from mountain climbing to, you know, swimming off into the distance and all sorts of crazy things. And straight off the bat, it's going to be Aphelion Apex pulling the trigger on towards Spaza. So we've got some battles happening already off the bat. The plane is not even finished flying at this point. Let's have a look and see where that zone decides to land as well. It'll be interesting if it decides to go up and north, which the zone does tend to do. This game is a bit of a troll like that. So we'll have a look and see what does happen in that regard. But of course, you know, this this map I don't think is really all that predictable. Zone's going to go off in it towards the east there, so a lot of teams are going to be sitting quite happy and comfy in there. But I mean, as for our traditional winners here, for instance, Gun, they're not putting in the maximum effort at this point. They're just kicking back, they're relaxing, and that's giving a little bit of opportunity for the other teams to try and pick up the pace. Now, are they going to be able to do it is the question. We did see Spaza putting enough points to actually get out of relegation for the time being, but because of the fact that both the Young Thundercats and I think Not Gaming have a game tomorrow to try and get themselves out, they are by no means safe at this point.
No, I don't think anyone's really like super safe. Like especially for Spaza, I think they've done enough to get themselves over maybe into the 23-22, but they're still very close to dropping out, especially if the teams below them suddenly have a fantastic game, and if they get taken out here now by Aphelion Apex, that's not going to be a fun time to start it off with. So yeah, Aphelion, they're looking to get some points here. They've also been a very interesting team to watch. They've shown us some very surprising games, and now they're looking to start off even more surprising than before, immediately making sure that this slow map is not going to be without any action right off the bat. So I'm happy to see that. Already 2 team kills in their pockets, and now they're looking to take out the remaining 2, which is of course Romeo and Berserk, who are just trying to rotate out and potentially play on for the likes of their team. At the moment, though, I mean, Toxic is just behind them. Toxic's also a team that really needs to get a little bit of a slice of the action here, because if they don't, I mean, where do they go here? Like after this, semis are going to come through, that relegation is going to happen, and you don't want to be that team that's going to be the first few to drop out. So definitely teams like that, teams like Nibble, teams like Blank Legion as well. I want to see more from them. I want to see them still fighting for this tooth and nail towards the end. I don't know how possible it is at the moment. Of course, we haven't seen the overall standings to just keep the spice, keep the drama, keep the tension up till the last possible second. But for those of us in the dark, we're like, okay, well, is it still possible at this point? Is it still manageable to get that amount of points to save yourself from relegation? That's the question on everyone's minds at this point. And that's a lot of pressure. That's a lot to work with, especially if you have to fight the likes of, as we just saw, Cartel, who have taken this opportunity to really show up. So for a lot of these teams, I think there's a lot that they're battling, and I think it's not going to get any easier on Miramar.
Oh yeah, it is definitely not going to be easy at all. This is one of the maps that does allow for a lot of those long range engagements and a lot of harassment, actually long distance harassment. And we've actually been seeing the teams tending towards a little bit of that style in the previous games. And I mean, this map just plays into that. So I do presume that we will be seeing quite a lot of that moving forward into the rest of this game. I hope at least that we do, because yeah, it's going to be quite difficult for a lot of these teams to come out on top. But I mean, that's the sort of trial by fire that we're really waiting for, that we're really expecting to see here, that we want to see for a lot of these teams that are trying to move up that leaderboard. Spaza being one of those teams. We'll see if they can make it happen. I mean, right now it's a little bit of a stalemate in terms of nobody really wants to step forward just yet. No one wants to be the first to expose themselves. So it's just chilling in the compounds at the moment. And we've got Aphelion Apex taking a little bit of presence up here towards the bridge, but ultimately nothing too crazy at this point. A little bit of Overwatch from Rusty, but otherwise it is peace and quiet for the time being in this particular compound. I'm just waiting for the teams to really get themselves into that position where they want to take fights. And of course, the thing that we have to talk about time and time again when it comes to Miramar is positioning, and it's also that verticality. It's, can you get to the top of a mountain? Can you get that height advantage? Can you get those long range shots in? It really does come down to that a lot of the time. We've seen entire games turned on their heads because teams get themselves picked off one by one as they try and make a rotate, as they try and get somewhere. Right now, Mr. Rogi has his eyes trained out there, looking for someone on the bridge, looking to see if anyone's trying to take Overwatch up there. Of course, Rusty is there, but hasn't really shown himself just yet, hasn't really challenged Mr. Rogi there, even if he even knows that he's there. But yeah, we're really just waiting for the fights to break out, really just waiting for those rotations to come through, I think is the name of the game at the moment.
Absolutely. And looking at it now, we've got 15 teams still in this. I mean, still at least 2 to 3 teams that are looking at, taking themselves out without any placement points. So they want to try and get as many teams out as humanly possible. Toxic, one of those teams that I've mentioned, they need to be on the lookout here. So they're still holding on, waiting for any sort of movement here, either from Spaza or from Aphelion. There we go, a little bit of damage there. Cold gonna not be happy with that one, trying to rotate through, but alive for the moment, still in this, and definitely still looking to get some revenge on Toxic. And at the moment, I mean, Romeo, he's still in the middle of everyone. I don't know if either team is aware that he's still hiding out here. Rusty might be, the member to find it out. Got a good positioning on both the remaining members there of Spaza, but need to be careful at this point. Need to absolutely be careful. That zone's also busy closing in, just making it a lot more difficult for a lot of the teams because they now have to worry about that blue wall of death that's just waiting for them. Vegeta, shoot. What? Why are you holding me in suspense here? Get a kill, man. Why are you just waiting? Oh, and here's the fight's going to be breaking out now. It's going to be happening right in the blue zone as well. So for the teams that are closest to that circle that are, sitting pretty, they're going to be happy. They've got a little bit of work to they've got some opportunity to really deck. Rusty, on the other hand, he's obviously not in a great position, going to get that made through, but has to get out of this as soon as possible. The vehicle's blown up, nothing that he can do about that, but he has to worry about Vegeta, who's just on the other side, just waiting for him. Just waiting to say hi. On the other hand, we do have Pain that's actually found lag, so a little bit of revenge, full circle, to say, hi, we remember Sanhok, and we're here to potentially take you out. Ooh, Romeo actually finding Rusty instead, so, actually biding the silence, saying, I'm just gonna take this kill whenever I can. Thank you so much. Try and rotate through and get out of this, but at this point, it's first zone. It's just a little bit annoying. It's not completely just chunking HP, but it's definitely an added bit of pressure to work with.
Yeah, it certainly is. I mean, right now these teams were in a bit of a stalemate for so long. They could have made something happen. They could have tried to step forward, and now they find themselves in the blue zone. And of course, the blue zone is the best motivation for anything to happen. Now they're sitting here, their health slowly ticking down, and now they're encouraged to fight, and they are going for it. Toxic now moving up in towards Spaza, taking a little bit of a fight there. Berserk off to the side, not going to be able to really assist all that much. So if there was ever a time to try and make it, it is certainly now. Going for the kills. Are they going to be able to find them? Though Romeo in a very tough spot finds the first one. Can he find the second? The answer is yes. Can he find a third? Though no, will go down eventually out of a little bit of trading there. But that was a little bit too close for comfort there for Toxic, especially with some players that could potentially capitalize on that positioning if they decide to do so. Berserk moving down now to try and make that happen. Not much to lose, so is literally just going to full send it and see what they can see. Up they come, Berserk looking for the kill. Can he find them? They're right up. The molly is going to miss, not going to find anything. Shots going through. He's going to find the first, very low on HP on the second, so easy pickup for Berserk. Thirst comes through as well. Just has to find one more from that team who's run off to the side. Zero now on the approach, looking to take this fight. Knows that there's someone up ahead, though, decides to back away instead. A smart decision considering the tussle that is happening just up ahead. You can see Vegeta waiting to see what is going to happen. Berserk here on the one side. He needs to have a look. He needs to be careful. Reki moving out of the smoke. On the other side of this wall, Berserk has jumped on over. Reki's looking for his target. Vegeta should be able to feed that information through. The thirst does come through eventually, but the info is in the hands of Reki. Now it's just a case of can he land the shots? Going to be healing himself back up just a little bit. Keep ahead of the curve for the time being. Berserk slowly running out of HP bit by bit. But can they save themselves? They need to be able to find the kills there. I mean, at some point, you're going to be running out of meds. At some point, you're going to be running out of HP. And right now, Reki has that HP advantage. So literally, if they take the fight now, Berserk is basically done for. So yeah, this is why we don't take fights in the blue zone all that much if it can be helped. Of course, that zone closing in going to move into stage 2, which does mean that they're going to be losing just that much more health as things start to progress. So Berserk in a very difficult spot, going to be using his meds to try and keep himself in the positive in terms of HP. Doesn't want to get sent back to the lobby all too quickly. Aphelion and Apex actually still in this particular area. Nobody's had the chance to rotate out. Now Reki on the approach, moving up, trying to catch Berserk out. Is he going to manage to do it though? Looking for the info, spots him out. Here it comes. Is he going to take the peek? Up comes Berserk. He goes for it and he will find it. And there it is. 2, 1 who dares goes the spoils, but it's Zero going to be sitting at the top of that bridge, who's been waiting all this time for his moment to strike. Will get that shot, will get that kill. the waiting game will pay off. But now they're stuck in the blue zone. They got to get that rotation going.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully between the two bodies, they'll be able to get enough meds, you know, make their travels a little bit easier. But yeah, it's 2 layers of zone that they have to deal with, and ooh, look at that that journey that they have to take to get into it. And here also they just managed to get into the zone at the moment. And in the meantime, though, if we're looking at it, Six and Fear have actually found each other. So they've actually said, "Hi, how you doing? Let's take a little bit of damage." So King is down, and UAE, they have their crosshairs trained just waiting. So unfortunately now for Fear, I mean, they're trying to just rotate into the zone, and now they have to deal with some competition to get into it. Gun actually sitting here right below Drogons' field of view, looking to potentially do a little bit of something. Only 3 members for Gun this time around, so they're 1 member down. A little bit of a back foot to work with, but Dragons as well, they're just waiting on top of the hill here for Gun to just peek around. Looks like Dragons was also 3 members, so 3 on 3? Question mark? What are we working with here?
Yeah, it's Gun who have not really been on top of the game today. They've been taking a break. You know, it's the sort of Gun vacation. You know, it's the reward that they get from placing right at the top of the leaderboard for all these weeks. Now they're just chilling. You know, they put the shots in, but like, you know, they're not really concerned about whether they win or lose it. You know, it's really just playing for fun at this point, and that's the prize that you earn when you put in the work so much like they have done over all these weeks. You know, you get the chance to say, yeah, well, you know, we're just gonna chill, you know, but that doesn't mean you can take them lightly. That's the other thing. I want to make this very clear. You cannot take Gun lightly at all. These guys are absolutely deadly, and I mean, if you don't believe that, just take a look at their score. They're sitting right at the top of that leaderboard. They were the first team as well to break 200 points, and they're still sitting with like 230 or something like that. So definitely not to be trifled with, but certainly not playing their A game right now. They're collecting themselves a little bit, you know, recuperating a little bit, getting themselves ready for the next stage, which they are absolutely guaranteed to be in. And it really is a case of the other teams trying to make something happen. Now, of course, Black Clover is the one that we've been talking about quite a bit. They've been managing to push themselves up there. But of course, Spaza is another team that had tried to really go up there. And despite the fact that they did manage to get out, they're not in the clear just yet. And I'm actually just having a look and seeing the team there from Black Clover. They might just be safe, even if the likes of Not Gaming and, for instance, Young Thundercats do actually put in a decent performance tomorrow. They might just be safe unless those two aforementioned teams put in some serious work in tomorrow's games.
Ooh, serious work indeed. That's what we like to see. Drogons trying to take a few shots. They're trying to find some connection. So far, for the moment, not going to be the case. They have to be aware, though, that some rotations are surely coming through. Pain just on the other side. Ooh, maybe a little bit of a spot going through. But yeah, we're down to the 3rd zone. Everyone is getting closer and closer. As we know, Miramar, quite a slow map. And ooh, Aphelion Apex actually cold once again, taking the damage. And Lala also not in a position that they want to be in at this point. Through the smoke, Black Legion comes in, and they're looking to take everything at this point. As you mentioned, Black Legion, one of the teams that I'm worried are still in relegation. I'm worried are very much still in danger at this point. So definitely looking to get as many points as they possibly can, because it's important for them to get out. It's important for them to just, you know, pad it up, get in, and take as many as they can at the moment. So Drogo's actually going to be pulling up, and just around the corner, it's a Gun, of course, going right past them. In the meantime, we tune into Nibble and UAE, who have found each other and who are looking to take a few for their own. Vindog still in this, going to finding one. Matrix, though, tracking right back into Comfy Cartel. It's true, trying to do everything. Gun has rolled up upon them. They're looking to take them out this time around, and Gun, Nerf Me, looking to take it all. Finding Broly is going to be a challenge, though. He's dodging left, right, and center, trying to get away from this Cartel down to... And they still have to deal with 2 members of Gun. For the moment, though, it's only Nerf Me that's up and out. Up and at him. Tigress going to look for the res at this point. And I mean, they've got a good position to do so, but they have to be careful. Nerf Me is going to aggress, though. Looking to get that final kill. But doesn't look like it's going to be happening this time around. Cartel, they stay in this. A little bit of pressure indeed, but still 3 members to work with. And as we tune into Black Legion, who were doing well, now they have to worry about Drogons, who have rotated in right behind them. They were doing so well to find Comfy Cartel. Cartel have now rotated out and they've found safety, but now Blank Legion, on the other hand, they have to do it all once again. Finding one, going to be finding two. Nero still in this for the Drogons. Only member currently alive and here to fight it out as Rambo tries to get the meds up. Same can be said for his team, but look at this from Nero. He's right behind them. Hybrid's down. Oh, gotta be careful here. Just looking for the angle, doing some damage. But can they find the final kill? Can they find that final little bit of damage? My, oh my, what is happening here?
Well, what is happening is Nero is absolutely fighting for his life. I'm not sure if he's going to be able to win it, but we'll see. Certainly doing the work to stay alive for the time being. Blank Legion gonna have to take this guy out. I mean, the fact they haven't killed him already is surprising to say the least. Of course, moving over towards Fear, who is just ahead of the team there from, I think that's Ultra 6. I'm not too sure. Yeah, that's Ultra 6. Just ahead of them. Could potentially look for some engagements here and there. Swag moving around, seeing what he could see. See if we can spot out any of those players up ahead. He's going to be putting his crosshair in towards Potato. The shots go through, not going to find any damage just yet, but everyone's trying to get the positioning inside of that zone. We're 4 zones deep at the moment. 11 teams are remaining. 31 players still left alive here on the board, and it is the long-distance game. As you can see, Potato trying to put those long-range shots in. Undisputed AE, you know, just trying to find some points here and there. Black Clover taking a little bit of damage. As you can see on the map, there are lots of teams now congressing inside of the zone and really just smashing into one another, trying to find that safe spot. A lot of them concentrated up in towards the north. Payne putting some shots in towards the Blank Legion here. The Drogons moving up through. Libino trying to move through, and Hulk putting some long-range shots in towards Ultra 6, making their time a little bit difficult here. And that's what this map is really all about here. Hulk and is landing those shots and really making Ultra 6's time that much more difficult. And with that, I think Ultra 6 find themselves in a really, really tough spot here.
Tough indeed. Zero also going down there to the zone. Top 10, here we come. Drogons still under so much pressure. I mean, Blank Legion fighting it out, and Fear, they were also taking a little bit of damage there. I think it was... Oh yeah, it was actually UAE that was keeping them out of the zone last time we saw them, so they've done well to get out of that, and now they're doing well to potentially take out Miyagi, who's just trying to rotate in. But some shots are going his way. Lynx as well, going to be careful there. Mullen's out of the count. Ultra 6 now in a bit of a predicament here because they've dropped 2 players. They still have to get the rotation in, and potentially the res has to come through, but they have to do all of that while Fear is watching and just waiting for them to make a mistake here. And as they push up to try and get those angles, they're looking for the team kills here because they've actually not found a single one just yet. So some extra points would be very, very good as they make it into the top 10. Of course, we know everyone is trying to just get as much points as they can at this point. Osiris alive and well with Shroud here for the natural killers, as well as 1 and 2. Fear and we're finally getting that kill on Miyagi, so Ultra 6 just finding more and more pressure, and the detective there, ooh, that has to be a very scary sound. If all you can hear right around you is gunfire, just shots going left, right, and center, and vehicles rolling up on your position at this point, so has to be very careful. Payne now tuning into the action here to try and take a piece of natural killers, and so far Hawk is doing fantastically to make sure that that's going to be the case. Natural killers going to be out for the count thanks to Payne Africa, who come through and are going to take those kills. Detective still alive, however. I don't think his position's been known just yet, but has to be careful. At some point he has to rotate in, right? At some point they have to move out, they have to get into the zone, and to do so they have to go through a lot of teams. He's going to be going down to the play zone as we tune into the Cartel, who are still alive and still in this. Potato, though, might be making it a little bit difficult for them at this point. Broly now tuning in, just trying to find the angle here, and Lag once again just doing what Lag do best, just so active, looking for those kills, looking for anyone that they can really put some pressure on. Detective, in the meantime, has found some kills there onto Payne Africa, so, you know, solo doesn't mean it's the end for them at all. Potato now trying to find that final kill there onto Tigress. Top 8 here we're at, and it's an absolute battle on every part of the map.
Yeah, and here we are, 8 teams remaining, 15 players left alive. Everyone's squeezing up into that zone. We've got quite a concentration up here towards the north. We've got Lag, who is looking to defend this position right on the border of this particular spot. The Drogons just keeping themselves alive there. We've got Black Clover off in the distance. Pain as well, just keeping themselves alive. Player by player, the stragglers all over the place. A nade going through, looking for, oh, what a slam dunk. What a perfectly thrown nade coming out there to just say goodbye to one of those aforementioned stragglers. So the Drogons are going to say goodbye as the zone is making its way on in, moving in towards number 6. Long-range shots coming in from Amon. Just trying to take out the rest of the Undisputed AE, and he is landing those shots, finding the hits. There it is. Sahil goes down. Potato, the last one left. And, well, he's just continuing to tap away, looking for the damage. And I like that. I like that a lot. He's not letting anyone get away for free for the time being. Lag absolutely have control of the situation. They've got the high ground. But for how much longer is the question? Of course, the rotations do have to come through as that zone has moved on up, down towards south of their location. So now, Eamon still putting those shots in. Sahil does get taken down once again. Potato having to go in for that revive. And certainly not making it easy here. The shots still coming through, but just barely enough cover to keep them alive for the time being. But for how much longer is the question? With that blue zone coming on in, some opportunities might just swiftly present themselves.
Top 6, and once again, Lag, they've got pretty much everything going for them at this point. So much better than what we saw in that first map where they actually managed to take the winner chicken dinner. So at this point, you're like, okay, well, what is there for them? Like how can they not win this? So looking to take out the last remaining member of Pain, or one of the 2 last remaining members of Pain Africa, going to be going down instead. But top 5 we're at, and Lag going to be rotating in, going to be happy with that one. Just picking up the kills left, right, and center. Now they still have to deal with Black Clover here, but just behind the tree line, and ooh, taking some little bit of damage there. So Hill from UAE is going to chime in and take out Eamon. Looking to take out so much more, though. Has such a beautiful angle to work with here as they rotate in. Only 2 members remaining for UAE, and they're looking to do as much damage as possible here. Definitely doing well to take out one of the members here of Lag, who now have lost the advantage all of a sudden, but they have spotted Black Clover. So getting a little bit of revenge here. It's a 3-on-2 at the moment, but UI is going to say, well, that's okay. I'll work it out. It's going to find one and make this a whole lot more palatable for everyone else that is in the zone right now. As we look at it, all of a sudden, Fear, they're leading the pack in terms of numbers. They might not be in the best position, though, because they're just outside the zone, but they should be able to rotate in without any stress for the moment, because Lag and UAE are very much in a battle. And just on the other side, we've got Black Clover still alive and still in this. Fear, though, now going to be just behind this ridge, actually, which is a nice position. So they've got the vehicles to work with as well. Got some positioning, got some cover. That's a nice way to look at it. And, oh, UAE, that nade. What is happening with the nades today? Going to be taking out 1 member, Lag, 1 also still alive and still in this. But for how long is the question? We've got 4 teams remaining, but only 8 players alive. So most of these teams, they're down to the wire in terms of numbers. And the cover, once again, it's minimal. It's almost non-existent at this point. So with the zone especially, this is going to be tough for anyone that doesn't have some sort of ridge, some sort of cover, some sort of car, a tree, anything to work with here. And with the nades, making their moves. Hulk, Fear. I feel like Fear have done some nade practice. They've got the mollies, they've got the nades, they got everything going their way at this point.
Oh yeah, I'm rooting for Black Clover in this one though. Up come the team there from Fear, looking to push into Undisputed AE, and the damage is absolutely done. Black Clover coming in to ring the bell of Lag and say goodbye back to the lobby. And suddenly we find ourselves 2 teams remaining. That, of course, being Black Clover and Fear for the time being, though. Black Clover got some HP to work with, but can they find the shots is the question. Fear still have some numbers, but Black Clover, they have been putting in such work. I mean, they almost deserve a chicken at this point. They're getting 2nd place all the time. They are looking for that first spot. They're looking hungry for it. The nades going through, trying to do the damage. Are they going to find their mark, though? Up goes the molly. It looks good. Is it going to land, though? Doesn't look like it did, which is a little bit unfortunate. Just shy of the team from Fear there, but very, very close. The intent to kill is there. Can they find the shots, though? Crawling slowly up, looking for their time to strike. It's a 2v3 at the moment. Some Fear grenades, tossing some grenades of their own there, flying down in towards Black Clover Vibe. Very up close. He's in a bit of a tough spot. If he gets spotted out, though, could be the end of him, and that means the end of the hopes and dreams for Black Clover, though they've got a little bit of cover to work with in the surrounding area being scanned by High as he juices himself up, readying himself for what could be the final fight happening in it towards the end there. Energy drinks getting popped, paintballs getting dropped, everything is coming down to the final battle between these two teams here. Who is going to come out on top is the question. Black Clover have been coming second every single time. Are they going to finally find a chicken here in this last game, in this Miramar map here for the evening? Or is it going to be Fear to pull out that win, pull out that chicken and go home with the point? We're about to find out. Up they come, moving slowly forward, looking hungry for the shots, looking for the kills. Not going to be able to find them just yet. None of these teams willing to give it away for free. They're going to be fighting tooth and nail for this one. Every single opportunity that they can find is going to be an avenue that they will be searching down. High, still keeping his eyes trained, but no one is ready to make that push. It's going to be down to the zone to decide the fate of these teams here, as it just gets that much smaller, and these teams are forced closer and closer and closer until somebody has to expose themselves. Somebody has to go down. Looks like Fear is a little bit split up. Me on the right-hand side here. Vibe could potentially spot him out here if he's looking. And if they do decide to take him down, it might just be easy to isolate the rest of them. Swag and Hulk on the left-hand side here. High has to deal with them. They're using the cover very, very well. Not going to be able to spot it out just yet. Swag's up behind a little bit of a mound. They could potentially use this. The rocky terrain really working out for these teams here. Really offering them just enough cover to stay alive. But High, he has spotted Swag out. He knows the location of the one. But is he going to have that translated into the kill? Vibe, just off to the side, hasn't been able to isolate me just yet. And now he's moving in to join the rest of his team. Getting that support there. High is going to stand up just briefly to try and spot him up. That might have taken away his position. Up he comes. The shots go through. High goes down. And that might just be the end here. Vibe putting the shots in, but that is the end for Black Clover. Fear will be paid off with that chicken dinner. Black Clover getting second place once again.
Yeah, to the patient team goes the winnings, and Fear, they just waited. They knew that they had the advantage there, and they did beautifully. So Black Clover, they're going to be going to second place once again with 5 kills this time around. So some nice points all around going to them. And Lag, once again, top 3. Here they come, and beautifully played by them as well. They were very active, which I like to see. I'm happy that a lot of these teams really just, they changed it up for the last night. I mean, this is the last opportunity to potentially get into the semifinals, and I think everyone really pulled out the spots. I'm happy to see that there was a little bit of a change. However, for the teams that are in danger of relegation, I'm not sure if it was enough. I'm not sure if everyone that we're looking at has made it into that top 24, or is there a lot more teams that we're looking at that are unfortunately going to have to say goodbye after tonight because they don't have any more opportunities?
Wow. Opportunities abound. Opportunities are meant to be taken. If you don't take them, we're sorry for you. Ladies and gentlemen, big shout out to Fear for coming through with that winner chicken dinner. This is just some of the stories I like to see, because I feel as if there are going to be a lot of tears after the tomorrow. Let's take a look at the standings. Patchy, what's happening over here, man?
Yeah, of course, Fear coming in with that chicken dinner and the 5 kills there. As you said, patience is exactly what paid off for them there. Of course, Black Clover taking another second place. I think that's 3 back-to-back second places here for them. That's certainly going to be giving them at least a little bit of security. I guess we'll wait and see for tomorrow. Lag, of course, coming in 3rd place with 15 points. Undisputed AE in 4th with 13. Pain in 5th with 10. Comfy Cartel in 6th with 9. Blank Legion in 7th with 6. Aphelion Apex in 8th position with 4 points there. And yeah, I mean, once again, these teams just bringing out just a little bit, trying to increase that buffer zone for them to make sure they don't go out in relegation. But of course, the next page here going to be Drogons sitting in the 9th position with 3, as well as Spaza with 3 and 10, Ultra 6 with 2, as well as Nibble with 2 in 11 and 12 respectively, Gun with 1 in 13, Natural Killers in 14 with 1, and Toxic with 1 as well in 15th position. So I mean, we're not seeing the top teams perform as we usually do, specifically Gun. They've given themselves a little bit of a break here. As I said, a little bit of a holiday for them. They don't have to take this one too seriously, and they didn't. Of course, the MVP coming through for the Black Clovers. They're High, doing the most with 5 kills. And certainly, it's no surprise that they will be picking up an MVP here in the game that they have been performing quite well in.
Very well indeed. I mean, we were looking at Black Clover. They only had 5 kills to work with, so he did everything for his team. There, he got everything. Unfortunately
Yeah.
for them, though, they're not going to get that chicken dinner.
No chicken dinners for them. But you see, I've been waiting for this all day to see exactly what's going to happen with the overall leaderboard. And ladies and gentlemen, here it is. Pachi, come on, tell us what's happened.
Okay, so right at the top of this leaderboard, nothing all that much. Of course, Gun still sitting at the top, Temper coming in second, and Zero Tolerance Skills coming in third. Gun didn't really have to do all that much. As I mentioned time and time again, they've really just, the buffer zone is gigantic. But for the rest of the teams, they tried to put a couple of points here and there. Undisputed AE, Lag. We've got Fit in Apex as well. They put in some points, and then they are definitely safe. I mean, everyone on this page right now completely safe, no problem. And the same is true, really, for the most part, for this page right here. The Comfy Cartel, as we saw today. Black Clover, though, look at that. They have absolutely just bolstered themselves all the way into 11th position. So they've got 133 points. They're sitting quite pretty. So Sincerity in 9, Drogons in 10. We've got Black Clover in 11, Pain in 12, Comfy Cartel in 13, Influence Rage in 14, Natural Killers 15, and Fear in 16. And I mean, yeah, that is just a testament to what you can do if you really put those points in and get yourself out of the tough spot. And here we go, 17 to 24. This is where the little bit of a change has been coming through. So, of course, we've got 18 BBC and 17 NFxUNIQUE. In the 19th position, we got Rainbow Six Madagascar. 20, we've got Euphoric Gods. 21, we've got Ultra 6. 22, we've got Rain from Hell. 23 is Spaza. And, of course, 24, Outsiders Official. These positions towards the bottom, and specifically 22, 23, and 24, are the spots that we have seen the most changes in terms of the teams being able to bring out points. Now, heading into the next page is going to be the teams that are still facing relegation. Young Thundercats find themselves in 25, Not Gaming in 26, Nibble in 27, Sidizens in 28, Toxic in 29, and Blank Legion in 30. Now, tomorrow, there's a little bit of a chance for teams like, for instance, Young Thundercats, who are sitting in 25 at the moment, to put the work in to try and get themselves out of relegation. But they've got so much work to do to really get themselves out of here. And as you say, Sid, I mean, there's definitely, at the end of all this tomorrow, at the end of those 3 games, there could potentially be a little bit of tears from the teams that find themselves here in the 25 to 30 slots.
Yes, and I'm definitely hoping Citizens would not be part bottom, guys. But if they are, what's gonna be is gonna be. There's nothing we can do about it. But I'm super happy for people like Fear, who literally have jumped from a relegation position all the way up into 16th position. So it just shows that if you put in the work, there is hope for you yet. Ladies and gentlemen, we hope that you have enjoyed today's broadcast of the Umzansi Esports League Season 3, brought to you by Nodwing Gaming. My name is Dr. Sid. I've been here with Esproxy and Pachi, and we have enjoyed every single moment of this day. I want to say thank you, guys, and we will see you tomorrow.